Welcome to the Horror Hangout podcast, where three bearded film fans watch the best and worst horror movies of all time. My name is Luke Kondo with Kate. I'm joined by my regular co-hosts, Mr.
Ben Herrington.
and a certain Mr.
Andy Conduit Turner. Hello, everybody.
How's everybody doing?
Hello.
Good, thank you.
Good.
Sounding a bit hoarse today, Ben. You doing all right?
I'm a little horse. Yeah, I'm a
Pony, they call them.
pony. I'm a pony. I am a little horse today. Yeah, but you know, as a podcast co-host, I have to proceed with these issues. You know, I didn't do the honey and lemon scenario, which maybe I should have done. Maybe this would be like,
I've got honey and lemon tea, and I've not even got a cold. Just showing off.
what you're doing is you're preempting something bad happening. Like some people probably take like 2 paracetamol in the morning every day just in case. You know.
Is that bad? Is that bad for you?
No, it's not. It's fine.
Do your legs not drop off?
No, like you shouldn't do too much paracetamol, like because you could
Dude.
overdose on it. But it's not one that'll be like paracetamol isn't something your body would get used to, and then it would be like, oh, it doesn't work. It's not like wearing a coat inside when it's not, and then going out and not feeling the benefit.
I think that was always my worry.
You had a good tip for me a couple of weeks ago, Andy, regarding the coat. And I've never thought about it before, but you said about 4 or 5 minutes before you leave, put your coat on, traps a layer of warm air.
It does.
What? Say
Life
again.
hacks with Andy.
How do you get the warm air in the coat again?
Because
Just
it'll
put the
be
coat on.
the air from inside your house that's lovely and warm. You trap that in there.
Yeah.
Wait,
It's
I don't.
all right.
What's the logistics here? So you don't put your coat on when you first
put
go
it,
outside.
you put it on before you go out. A couple of
Yeah.
minutes before you
For
go
a few-
out.
for a
So
few
it's
minutes,
nice,
yeah.
Rather than
okay.
go outside
Yeah.
and then put it on.
Not that you would do that anyway, but
Oh yeah.
hang on a minute. But I suppose you've
like
given
it.
yourself a chance to warm up inside. I like it. It's a good
What-
tip, Andy. Have you got any more?
I've
Always
got
buy
one.
shoes in the afternoon after your feet have finished growing for that day.
Finish what?
What about putting shoes on the table? Is that bad luck?
Oh, I don't know about that. But I imagine it probably is. Probably
I
bad
heard-
luck because your mum bollocks you. Don't put
heard-
shoes on the table.
Fucking shoes on the table. I heard it was when like a soldier died at war. If somebody would bring back his personal belongings, including the shoes,
And chuck
it
them
was
on the
something-
table.
they chucked the shoes on the table, so it was a sign of he's gone. He's passed
Oh,
over.
okay. He's not going to need them.
He's
He's
not
not
going
going
to
to
need
reach them
them.
with his feet.
I'll get him straight on. What did you say about feet finishing growing for the day?
Yeah, just buy shoes in the afternoon. You're buying shoes in the morning.
What time do your feet start growing? Like 1.
I'd go about 3. Don't want to rush to get
It
the shopping
feels-
done before it closes.
I'd say it feels about 1, half 1 for me normally.
Yeah.
It's different for everyone though, I think.
Yeah, you've got to build in that margin for error.
When you buy
Yeah.
shoes, do you ever go for a half size, or do you always stick to round numbers?
They stopped doing round numbers, didn't they? I don't see them anymore. I know I am a 9.5, I think.
Okay.
But I've always had to either go for a 9 or a 10.
It's one of the
Yeah,
disappointing things about being an adult that obviously your feet have stopped changing sizes, so you don't have to put your feet in that little Star Wars crusher thing, to get them measured when you go to the shops.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I
Aren't
quite
your
like that,
feet
though.
like your ears? Like my granddad's ears are really big, and like they weren't like that a long time ago. Like they've just continued to grow. Do your feet and hands continue to grow?
I think they stop unless we've uncovered a conspiracy that all like basketball players are like an ancient race. That's why they've all got like size 25 feet.
Yeah.
It's pretty
All
mad,
hundreds
though.
of years old.
It's pretty
Yeah.
insane. I'm confused by the concept of that. I mean, that's a horror in itself. Massive, massive feet. Because I wouldn't consider myself somebody to have big feet. But could you imagine having like size 15 feet or something?
Yeah, if
Terrifying.
you're out on a windy day though, wouldn't you?
I don't know. Would you?
Yeah, you wouldn't blow over. good surface area. Be like a weeble, invincible.
Depends what time of the
Yeah.
day the wind is coming at you there.
Yeah, that's
Morning or
true.
Afternoon wind. Okay, right. That's enough of that.
Have you got any horror movie news? Or just
we've got-
horror news? Doesn't have to be movie news.
No, and it isn't just horror movie news that I've got because the Game Awards happened like when? When was that? On the weekend? A few days ago.
End of the week, a few days ago.
End of last week, I think. Yeah. So, and we've had a few horror-shaped bits of news that came out of the Game Awards, which was quite exciting. I mean, it was a good show. I enjoyed it. Some worthy winners, but a couple of the announcements included the fact that there's going to be a Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game. That's from Gun Interactive and Sumo Nottingham. Sumo Luke's Nottingham. He's right there next door. Are you?
I know where they are. Actually, I think they're not too far from my new office. But it's an asymmetrical game, right? Someone plays chainsaws. 4 people play the massacre.
Yeah.
Whatever it looked like.
Initially I was like, ooh, and then as soon as I found out it was that, I was like, ah.
I mean, I like those games. I like Dead by Daylight and the Predator one, and
we've already got Leatherface and Dead by Daylight, though, right?
I don't know about Leatherface, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do.
Kombat. They were thinking Mortal Kombat.
He's in Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
So it looks like, I mean, that key art that we've got looks spectacular.
Oh yeah, it has a little tagline. It said like this game is based on true events. Yeah. But it's quite a nice little touch.
Oh yeah.
True events of the real life film Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is a film that exists.
Yeah.
I've got around it a loophole.
People are still loving Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So next year, we're gonna have a new movie and a game. So cool. I'll give it a go. I'll check it out. I was kind of hoping for like a survival horror experience. Like imagine like a game. Imagine like survival horror. Yeah, like that sort of experience, but set in that universe with Leatherface chasing after you and all the other crazies trying to have a bite of your bum as well.
Well, I think maybe we can combine it depending on when the things drop. Maybe we could do an episode on the new movie and have a little go on the game. Immediately get frustrated because it's an online game and 8-year-olds are all better than us at playing it. Never play again.
We tried to do a horror hangout, Friday the 13th one with quite a few people, but I think it was really hard to get a game going. Like some people would drop out, not on purpose. Like it was just the server issues.
Yeah, I remember we tried to do that. I had a run around with a group of French lads. My French is not very good.
What about the game?
Yeah, what about playing the game?
Yeah, after we'd run around, we were too tired for any Friday the 13th.
Yeah, too tired. Just they sat around speaking French, and you chimed in once or twice.
Chimed in every so often. Oh yeah, I'd love to go to the ice rink. I'd say. La Pâte Noire, génial.
Do you guys know who's playing Leatherface in this game? Well, doing the motion capture work.
I think it depends whether you probably choose to be the killer or it's random. What do you mean? I don't understand the question.
Well, apparently a horror big man. Oh, Jesus Christ. Did you hear that?
He's very scared, yeah.
This is the most
horror big man.
And that's Jason's voice, not Leatherface.
Oh, close. You're close. Take what you just said and work out who's playing Leatherface.
Oh, is it Kane Hodder?
Kane Hodder will be doing the motion capture work for the horror icon. Much the same way Hodder played with Jason Voorhees. It was not. Oh, he did it for the Friday the 13th game as well. Okay, didn't realize that. Cool. So there we go. And Kane Hodder also did Leatherface stunt work back in the 90s for Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3.
He loves it. Can't get enough.
He loves it. He goes, Leatherface, I'll have a little go on that, please.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's that. And other bits of horror news. There's a new game from the creator of Silent Hill, new game studio called Bokeh Game Studio. And a trailer debuted at the Game Awards called Slitterhead. Jesus, this is bad.
Slitterhead.
You can't comment on it every time because it's just going to get
to be fair,
worse.
My voice does it all the time, even when I'm not ill. So yeah, I can't say anything.
I'm not ill. I've just been screaming my head off just from pure terror of watching The Faculty.
Bloody Slitterheads out.
Bloody Slitterheads out. So did you guys see this trailer?
No, I haven't seen the one for Slitterhead.
So one key thing about it is the music's by Akira Yamaoka, who did the music for Silent Hill. and there's lots of body horror. And I mean, it looks very, very strange. I wouldn't say it looks anything like Silent Hill.
Strange.
There's some really weird looking creature effects, but there's also it's got a very, I don't know, how can I describe it? It's odd. It looks odd. Just watch the trailer.
Right, spooky. Add Slitterhead to my list of things to check out.
Yeah. And the other big announcement from the Game Awards is that Alan Wake 2.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah,
2023.
The greatest of news.
Finished number 1.
I've not quite finished it, but I've picked it back up again after playing Doom Eternal for the last month or so.
Yeah.
So I picked it back up, and I think I'm near the end. So, so apparently it's going to be their first survival horror title from Remedy. They called Alan Wake, the first Alan Wake game, they just called it like an action game. So apparently there's going to be a real focus on survival horror with this one, and it's going to not out till 2023, but still, I love the world of Alan Wake. So it'll be very interesting to see what they do with this.
Yeah,
especially if it's going to be next gen as well. Like that would be pretty good. What they do with the light and dark stuff.
Yeah.
I like Alan Wake. The thing I like about Alan Wake, he's just enough of a prick. Like he's not nice. He's a bit of a prick, but not too much. Just enough.
Yeah, he's definitely enough of a prick. But it'd be interesting to see what they do with the story. Obviously, I don't know how the Alan Wake remastered story ends, or the Alan Wake the first game ends. But we'll find out soon, and then we shall see. But very interesting, because obviously, when did Alan Wake originally come out?
2007, 2008. Yeah, I feel like it's in that golden era, like 2007, when literally everything came out.
Yeah, so it's going to be like 20, no, not 20, 16 years between the installments. So I mean, that's interesting, but it's good. Obviously, Alan Wake Remastered did well enough for them to consider, or maybe that was the plan all along, get remastered out there, and then we can build upon that. Okay. That's everything from the Game Awards. The only other piece of horror news I saw this week was that a new Scream poster debuted, and the reason this is interesting is because on the actual poster, text at the bottom, it says the killer is on this poster. Now you've pretty much got every major character on there, so it'd be a surprise if not. Or perhaps there's something going on in the background, where there's a police car.
There you go. The police are the bad guys
in the foreground.
Figured it out.
Yeah, and also there's like a Woodsboro sign saying, "Oh, the killer's Woodsboro itself."
Actually, the town.
It's actually the town is haunted all along.
Evil dies tonight.
So yeah.
Oh, God, if it's him.
Same guy, Tommy Doyle. What are you doing here?
Oh please!
Evil dies tonight.
Evil bloody dies tonight, and a poor little bloke getting chased.
He's tired, like he's not slept since that night. Evil dies tonight.
Evil dies tonight or tomorrow. If I don't sleep, it's still the same night, right?
I'm ripping this page off the calendar tonight.
So yeah, that's going to be next month. That will be out, and we'll be covering that as well. That's coming around quick, isn't it?
It has come quick, isn't it?
Very, very exciting.
I saw some news.
Oh,
Anne Rice, horror author of Interview with Vampire and various Vampire novels, died this week. I've been honest, I can't say I've actually read any Anne Rice novels, but
I've definitely read an Interview with a Vampire, and possibly is one called The Vampire Lestat. I definitely picked up a few of them.
She did the whole saga, right? Or are there any that were then spun off from her work by other people? I can't be sure, but I know that's maybe her most famous series.
Is Queen of the Damned a book as well?
I think so. Yeah, that rings a bell.
Yeah. So she was 80 years old. Rest in peace, Anne Rice.
Have you guys done an episode on Interview with the Vampire?
No, definitely. I've not seen it since I was a kid, I don't think.
I've not seen it for many a year.
There you go. That's one for the future. That's one for maybe next month.
Yeah.
A fitting tribute to cover
I feel like that's a nice gap, isn't it? It doesn't feel like you're jumping on the bandwagon just after the author has sadly died, but it might be a good time to revisit.
Yeah, definitely. I might give the book a reread as well, because I remember enjoying it. definitely worth another go. Okay, that's it for horror news. Has anybody seen anything of note in the last 7 days?
I rewatched 13 Ghosts
Oh
with the
yeah.
Facebook group as a horror movie watch along sort of thing. I feel like we only watched like a year ago or something, right? So it's still pretty fresh.
You say that. I reckon it was a long time ago we did 13 Ghosts on this podcast.
It's before I was here every week.
Yeah. I reckon. Oh, January 2018.
Okay, a little while ago. But I
I mean,
mean,
the last 2 years don't count though, so
yeah,
Definitely don't count now.
but I mean, there's like I can close my eyes at any point in that film and know exactly what's happening. I feel like I know it far too well, and especially the Matthew Lillard jizzing scenes, which I've seen,
If you
an
just
insane
need to
amount of
search,
times.
if you need to search on YouTube, Matthew Lillard can't stop jizzing, you'll find one of Luke's finest video editing moments. And now I don't think I could ever watch that film without thinking that he was jizzing in his pants. Ever
Yeah,
again.
there are bits when I'm like, I'm sure the direction must have been just make it look like you're jizzing in your pants.
And Matthew Lillard's gone. I know exactly what that looks like. And
Yeah.
I can thank you for the really clear direction. I'll take care of it from here.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
It's quite a stacked cast though, right? Not only Matthew Lillard, you've got Adrian Monk from Monk.
Yeah.
Jack Frost, Shannon Elizabeth.
Yeah, from Jack Frost.
Yeah,
Anyone else? That's it.
that's the whole cast. There's a little boy, maybe.
And a load of ghosts.
Yeah, the little boy looks like he grows up to be the singer of Papa Roach. Pretty sure it's the same guy.
So Papa Roach Jr.
Jacob Shaddix. Is that his name? I don't know. May have just completely. Jacoby.
Yes, is it Jacoby? Yeah.
Jacoby Shaddix.
Jacobish, anyway.
Why has my brain kept hold of that piece of
Why is
information?
my brain?
Why is my brain? Full stop. Question mark.
Also, I'll just get mine out of the way quick. I finished reading The Human Centipede, which is a book by a guy called Adam Millard. And I said last week, like if you whatever images that puts into your brain, that's exactly what happens. But it's super English as well. Like the jokes are very, very English. It's like hanging around at your dad's office or your dad's workplace, and everyone's joshing with each other constantly.
Get out! What are you doing? You don't even work here.
Yeah.
Go home.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. I gave it kind of 3 out of 5. But
Human
yeah,
Santa.
what about you guys?
Looking at the cover, does Santa get centipeded with Mrs. Claus?
And Rudolph and loads of elves. Yeah.
Wow. What?
Out of curiosity, who do you think would be the bad guy in that story?
Jack Frost, like the Judder Man version of him.
Is it someone else of Christmas fame?
Yeah, there was a big reveal halfway through, and I was like, I knew it was going to be him the entire
Krampus.
time. Yeah.
Oh,
Had to be Krampus.
That's what I mean. Like it even though like it's quite an out there idea, concept, every choice was like, that's exactly what choice. I don't know. It seems very obvious to me at times.
should have done a twist and added Jesus. Like you guys have been stomping over my birthday for too long.
I think a few more lateral thought steps would have been nice.
Yeah.
And if you human centipeded someone, that's how you could feed all those people with just one dinner.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's how he did it.
That's how he did it.
Human centipeded all those people.
Everyone
in the desert.
ate the same fish just over and over again.
Yummy.
Yeah, the Bible's greatest mysteries solved via blasphemy. Join us again next week.
Human
Have you done a blasphemy?
I've done, Mum, I've done a blasphemy.
I've done a blasphemy. Come help me clean it up.
Oh, Martin. I don't know why Martin.
Martin, that's a dirty protest.
What about you guys? You watch anything?
I think I've just seen the one thing this week. Sorry, Andy. I was just going to say mine because it's just one thing. So I finally saw Pig. Nicolas Cage, Alex Wolff, directed by Michael Sarnowski. Yeah, I kind of loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is very slow. It takes a while. I think if you go into it expecting something else, I mean, a lot of the marketing has been quite. I mean, the marketing's been perfect for the film. I think it kind of makes sense. But I've read some weird things on Letterboxd, like saying, you know, the anti-John Wick. I think even if someone says the anti-John Wick, you kind of think there's still going to be some level of violence. And, you know, there is violence to a degree, but it's quite unexpected. And some of the quieter moments in this film, I found really quite moving, really. And not even
I was really moved by it.
It's not even like a man's relationship with a pig that kind of are the moving moment. The moving parts are really quite unexpected.
Yeah.
Just parts where you think a certain scene's going to go one way and it goes a completely different way. It's an impossible to like pigeonhole film. If you try to describe it, like one description, John Wick with a pig, John Wick meets Ratatouille. I think the fact that somebody's pet gets abducted doesn't make it John Wick. You know, it kind of needs to be taken out of the equation.
It's like, I mean, I think it might be one of my favorite films of the year. It's properly lingered with me. Those emotional moments that you're talking about, like there's a bit where he, don't want to spoil anything, but there's some food and like he makes some food, and I don't know, it's just so it really got to me.
Makes a bit of dinner, and also like Alex Wolff was great as well, because I kind of saw his character going a certain direction, and I'm glad it didn't go in that direction, because it was much more surprising, I guess, in that way. If it would have turned out that his character's involvement in the plot was I would have been like, yeah, just kind of saw that coming, but it never did. So good. Recommend it. I might watch Lamb next, and then round off the Farm Animals trilogy with what?
Babe.
That's
another pig though.
Cow.
Is there anything with an arse in it?
I'm sure there's a film called Cow.
Watch that incredibly fucked film I saw, that of horses and men. Like that Nordic film I watched a few years ago. It's not a horror film. It's fucked.
I got one. Chicken Run.
There you go. Oh, problematic there, Mel Gibson.
Poultrygeist.
Oh yeah.
Poultrygeist. Excellent
Fantastic.
choice.
Wonderful choice. Animal Farm.
Yeah.
Oh,
we'll have a farm-based series.
Yeah.
I think any animal has been turned into a horror villain at some point.
Yeah.
Pigeon.
So that was
Pigeon.
The birds.
Yeah, they're all over the birds. They got a lot of seagulls in there and all day.
Yeah.
That it's weird. I was trying to think of what else I've watched. I'm sure I've watched something else this week, but I think that might be it in terms of major. I think that's the only film I've watched. Anyway, there we go. Andy?
It's been mostly Christmas movies around this house, although I did, not horror related at all. Horror in its first instance, I guess, but they made it nicer after a while. Got around to watching Sonic. That was lovely.
Oh, yeah.
It got fair reviews, but I think it was probably worth more than it got. I had a delightful little time with it. But more horror adjacent stuff have been more focused on comics and stuff this week. I read, and I think Ben, you might have picked up a copy as well. I read Black by Vince Hunt that we picked up at the Thought Bubble the other day. We all got copies.
Yeah.
It's don't want to spoil anything. Obviously, anyone who's listening, it's something that I think Vince started doing during lockdown. He was doing a picture very regularly and releasing it on an Instagram feed. It's just quite a simply done picture of a man, like an unnamed warrior, when he gets named a little bit later, fighting his way through these monsters. It's got kind of a almost a Dark Soulsy vibe to it in places, isn't it? It's like a forsaken land that he's fighting the way through. And you can read it all on Instagram, should you be so inclined, or you can buy a book for yourself. But I really enjoyed it. It's a quick read, but he's still working on it. He's bringing out more as well. So get on. I think it's called Black Comic, but without the C in black, if you want to check it on Instagram. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's great. Very nice. So nothing in particular.
Oh, sorry. I did say. So did I tell you a few weeks ago? Some guys came around to my house and we played until dawn.
Yes.
Were they French?
Yeah, we're French. Some French lads. They ran all the way from Andy's house.
Yeah, they ran up. Well, they were big runners. I saw them.
Big gamers as well. Big feet. So they we finished the game because the campaign, it's like a choose your own adventure game. It's about 8 hours long. Well, it was for us, which I thought was way longer than I thought it was going to be 2-3 hour like a movie sort of length.
Yeah, I've heard it's a decent length. I'm a couple of chapters in.
You're a couple of chapters in.
Yeah, I've had one session of playing it, and it was a brief one.
Well, it definitely goes some places. Like it's the story did not go how I thought it was going to go, and like for us, I mean, I don't know, spoil anything, Andy, if you're still playing it, but basically we didn't do very well, but we thought we did well, and then our friend was like, "That's the worst ending." That.
Oh no. Devastating when that happens.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good. I really liked it. I thought it was really fun. It really holds up to say it's a 2016
It looks really good. I had a quick go at it like earlier this year. I had my first little go of it, and you're right. It's really quite engaging early on. It looks like it goes some places. I've had a few bits of it like spoiled because they've appeared in like top 10 moments lists on various things. But I do intend to get through and finish it at some point. It's the bit of it I've done is really good.
Yeah. Cool. And then just watch The Faculty after that.
Yeah.
To Faculty.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the film of the week, The Faculty. So The Faculty is a 1998 American science fiction horror film directed by Robert Rodriguez, written by Kevin Williamson. It stars Jordana Brewster, Clea DuVall, Laura Harris, Josh Hartnett, Shawn Hatosy, Famke Janssen, I'm reading everyone out, sorry, Robert Patrick, Usher Raymond, aka Usher, John Stewart, and Elijah Wood.
The names in this film, there's so many. I think the studio was like, let's get Robert Rodriguez, who I think was pretty big around that time, up his like Desperado stuff. Let's get Kevin Williamson, who did the Scream stuff. He knows how to pen a horror movie these days.
Yeah.
Let's get Elijah Wood. I guess this is like fresh after Lord of the Rings. This can't be before, can it?
It's before Lord of the Rings.
Because before it's 98.
Okay, well, like he's going to go far, that kid.
All the way to New Zealand.
He's raw, but he's going to go far.
He's going to go far, all the way to bloody Mordor, mate.
New Zealand's as far as you can go, pretty well.
Yeah. Who else? So Famke Janssen, who is obviously from the X-Men movies.
Yeah. Robert Patrick.
T-1000.
T-1000 himself.
Right at the start, they've got the T-1000 doing some stuff. Offspring are playing. So it's like you're already kind of zapped with like energy. What? The T-1000 and Offspring?
As soon as the Offspring came on, I was like, whoa. I'm in for a time.
And then that woman, I think she's like the music teacher or something. Pretty sure in Total Recall, when Arnold Schwarzenegger is trying to get through the deportation airport security, he's dressed as her in like a robot suit.
Dressed as the 2 weeks lady, yeah.
Yeah. 2 weeks.
Can you imagine if that had changed and that bit with the scissors a bit later, it was like, oh, how long we got off school? 2 weeks. What? And then Arnie comes out.
Yeah. So I was energized within the first 10 seconds of this film. Whoa, it's one of my favorite things.
I was surprised to see John Stewart as well. Usher is in this. He's billed really high, and on the poster he's really prominent, but he's not in this film too much.
Yeah, so he was a dancing sensation by that point, wasn't he?
He was a dancing sensation back then, of course. Yeah, but at the same time,
he sells tickets, he sells seats. We get a part-time job selling seats.
Usher's in this he's in 3 scenes. Great.
Yeah.
He becomes
really
the new
sort of background
team
scenes. Got a couple of lines, hasn't he?
Yeah.
The lines. And then Clea DuVall, who plays Stokely.
Yeah.
I recognize her from like loads of things. She was big into like these sort of movies, wasn't she? So she was in
loads of these.
Girl Interrupted.
She's All That.
She's All That. She's in that. Yeah, she's in that.
10 Things I Hate About You, maybe.
I don't know about that.
I'm just sort of saying ones from that period.
She's in Ghosts of Mars.
Ghosts of Mars.
Ghosts of Mars, John Carpenter's film.
I think she's done quite well later on as well. Like, I think she's a bit of a writer, producer, director combination, and also she was in Veep, I think, and a few other bits and pieces.
I'm just taking a look actually, because I feel like I recognise her quite a lot from this period, but I didn't know much of her in. Oh, she was in Argo.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I feel like she's always good, no matter what she's in.
Yeah.
You see her and you go, she's good. She was also in The Grudge and Zodiac.
Yeah.
Interesting career.
Who else was in this? So is it Piper Laurie? Is she the one from
Piper Laurie is the older teacher who suddenly turns up and she's had a bit of makeup on. Salma Hayek plays a nurse with a cold. Nurse with a cold. That's pretty much it. Like, she must have gone in.
Do you think
so? This is post From Dusk Till Dawn. This is after that.
Of course, yeah. So Robert Rodriguez made that, and he was like, "Salma, do you want to pop next door?" He probably had this movie on the go. And next door, like, she pops straight.
I've got a
bit of a cold. Perfect. We'll use that.
So she does a sexy strip with a snake wrapped around her in From Dusk Till Dawn. And
catches a cold doing that.
Catches a cold doing that, and
that's all part of Robert's plan. Don't wear clothes because we want you to get a bit ill for this, bit sniffly for this next role.
Nothing sexy in this movie. That's incidental, but I do need you to be able to act as if you've got a cold. Yeah,
I thought for some reason watching this again this time, I was like, does that cold have some kind of bad? You know, like we were talking about the Mars film. What's that film called again?
Ghosts of Mars.
Ghosts of Mars or Total Recall.
No.
Oh, you were total recalled into remembering. Yeah, I felt similarly because like, oh, is her having a cold an important factor?
Yeah. Turned out not.
No.
No, she just literally just had a cold. Yeah, it's just a character quirk.
Go home. Yeah. Get yourself home. Sick leave was awful.
Oh, Josh Hartnett as well. Who, I mean,
forget.
He went through a period of being like, I'm sure, as big as Brad Pitt. Like in my mind, like I was thinking, he's like an A star kind of.
So he's your big guy, right?
1998 was a big year for Josh Hartnett because he was in The Faculty and also Halloween H2O.
There's a bit in this film, isn't there, when she goes, "Where's your mom?" Isn't she? And it's probably, "Please hide him from Mike Myers, mate." That's where she is.
She's terrified. So this is like before he became like a big action star, because then not action, but kind of action, because then he was in Black Hawk Down, Pearl Harbor, and then obviously eventually things like Sin City and Lucky Number 11, which I love that. I really like that film.
I was just thinking about that, and I was just thinking, did I just think Lucky Number 11 was good and it's actually bad?
Yeah, I'm worried about it. I've not seen it in a long time, but in my memory, I always thought that's such a cool film.
Yeah. Lucky Number 11 is in a similar vein for me. I feel that you could double feature it with The Inside Man. Again,
don't know that one.
The Inside Man's on with Clive Owen, and they're robbing a bank. It's a Spike Lee movie.
Okay, yeah,
it's good. Well, I remember it being good, and it's a similar era to Lucky Number 11. And I feel like in both cases, I think they're brilliant. But if I watch them back now, maybe I'll like have some kind of crisis.
I feel like that with. Right? I don't know. I feel like that with Shoot 'Em Up. Do you ever watch Shoot 'Em Up?
Oh god,
I think it's Clive Owen.
Clive Owen again, eating a carrot.
That's the bit that sticks in my mind. So he's looking around, you can't quite see what he's aiming at. He eats a carrot, and it's like vision comes into like sharp focus. That's all you needed to.
Yeah,
it's like
I will stand by Shoot 'Em Up as still being excellent. I'll hear nothing.
Doesn't he stab a carrot into somebody's eye as well?
Yeah, he kills a few people with carrot-related things. And there's a bit where he can't use his hand on the gun, so he uses a carrot to pull the trigger.
Wow.
There's a bit where during a sex scene with Monica Bellucci, he still shoots an entire special forces team.
Yeah.
It's a classic cinematic moment. That pure cinema.
Pure, unadulterated cinema.
So
Oh wait, Josh Hartnett's haircut though.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for 1 second. It's what is it, like a hexagon?
Yeah.
I don't think he styles it that way. I'm sure that's. I mean, it's like
man.
unfortunate, isn't it? That hair?
Is the kind right. This is the kind of character that I always feel a bit annoyed at existing in like a movie like this. So he's a kid in high school, but he's
23.
Sorry. He's somehow 23. He is a drug dealer. He is a science whiz. He is like good, like the teachers kind of fancy him. Or
Yeah,
at
that's
least we
weird,
kind
isn't
of
it?
that's
Yeah,
weird. Yeah.
the
that's
English
weird.
teacher,
He's-
the English
at one
teacher
point-
fancies him.
At one point, he's playing football as well and smoking.
At the end, yeah.
At the end.
Well, at the end, that's because he's like changed, like he's trying now. I think that's kind of. Or
I
like,
feel like
the roles have been reversed.
he hits too many. He's covering all of the bases. He's covering too many of them. He's like 3 characters in one.
Everything he does as well is like the maneuver to make it look really cool. Like the way he gets the guillotine thing off the thing and he catches it. The way he pops the pen lid off. No one pops pen lids off that cool.
No.
He does it every single time.
He says
Yeah.
he said that he's got a few lines in this where I'm like, oh, shut up,
Oh, shut
because
up,
he's trying to get
Josh.
everyone to take the drugs, and he goes, I don't get high off my own supply, man.
Yeah.
It's like nobody says that. You twat.
I mean, he
It's like,
doesn't have the best line in the movie. We'll come to that when it comes up, though.
Hmm.
What is the best line in the movie? Give me a hint.
Well, it's an insult. I'll give you that.
I think I remember because I think you tweeted it. You
Yeah, I
tweeted
did.
it, didn't you? Yeah. That was weird.
I was taken aback and went, I've got to rewind. Did they just say what I think they just said?
So what's kind of weird is that this group are like they're it's a bit of an oddball group, isn't it? They kind of obviously all band together to survive when
The Breakfast Club.
Yeah, the
situation.
Breakfast Club of alien hunting.
where they've got nothing in common. But some of the dynamics between certain characters is a bit jarring, and the way their relationships are resolved is also a bit jarring. So, but obviously, yeah, we'll get to that. But almost makes me a little bit dubious as to whether there's a twist. There's not like a post-credit scene, is there?
Not that I
I
saw.
don't
I
think
didn't
there
sit
is.
through the credits.
I feel like the end scene in itself is a bit dubious, but we'll get to that. We'll discuss that.
Yeah. But where that's where we come to at the end. But where we begin is with, as Luke mentioned, the Offspring's Americana, their greatest album, perhaps.
Offspring have always been one of those bands that it's never really worked for me.
No, they got some Americana. I think around that time I was listening to "Take Off Your Pants and Jacket." That was kind of my pop punk fix. But
100%.
They do have a few songs that have come out over the years that I think are bangers. What's that one that goes?
Original Prankster. It's Hit That.
I did like
banger.
Original Prankster and Pretty Fly for a White Guy because obviously they were the big hits.
Yeah.
I always kind of got the impression that they were just old dudes, which is kind of weird because obviously they weren't old dudes.
I mean, they're kind of growing into that.
Yeah.
What's his name? Dexter. He is like a PhD scientist in. Yeah.
There we go.
And the other guy's
By
name
his
is-
full name, because Dexter is short for Poindexter, right? So
Yeah.
now he's a scientist.
That makes sense.
Poindexter.
Yeah.
So yeah, this film takes place at Herrington High School in Ohio.
Yeah.
And it starts there. There's a meeting at the school discussing the school's budget.
They're discussing the real life horror of slashed public school budgeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, where
Can't afford new
the
computers, can't afford a drama, can't afford like a panto this year. Certainly
go-
can't afford to New York.
Do they say we want to go and watch Guys and Dolls?
I think they want to put on a production of Guys and Dolls. It's like,
yeah, that's right.
you can't have it. You can have the Jets or the Sharks, not both.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the football team who are successful, they can have it all. They can have
Yeah.
everything.
But like
New
they get
jock straps.
The new
they
clothes.
always need new jock straps. They're once use them once and throw them away. Never using those stinky things again. But like the head teacher is like saying have you seen the football stadium on a Friday night? The entire town is there. So they bring in the numbers, guys and dolls. Who goes to watch guys and dolls? Nobody. Bandcamp people.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's a big problem, isn't it? It's a big problem. It's like when people say, why do footballers get paid so much? It's like, it's a lot of money, but at the same time, people are literally paying for like thousands of pounds for a season ticket. So they can afford new jock straps every other day or however long they want them.
Yeah. So after a game, Robert Patrick is like, he's really hot tempered. And
he's already an awful man, right?
This is only a practice. And like someone wasn't trying hard enough and he got so angry, he like threw over a bench with the water on it. And there's like a hole in the, like a sprinkle bit in the floor or something. It's like a hole in the grass. I think that's normal.
These parasites look like those little dumplings, little.
Oh, gyoza.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah,
gyoza. They look like gyoza dumpling. I thought
they look like the fridge raiders. They look like roast chicken fridge raiders.
See, there's a difference in our tastes there, Luke. You see, I mean, not to say one's more refined than the other, of course not. But I quite like a fridge raider.
I do, but sometimes they squeak a bit. Why is it squeaking?
They're a squeaky meat product for sure.
Yeah, and it's a bit watery. It's like they've just.
Where's that water come from?
It's because it's been filled with water to make them bigger.
Yeah.
But gyoza are always tasty.
Yeah, so your gyoza alien. I don't know how he got in the pipe, but it's got on in him because he's an even more awful man than usual.
How did he get in the pipe?
He's not just angry. I mean, we don't. I'm kind of glad we don't get any major origin, like seeing a comet, like a meteorite. Sorry, just like landing on the ground and seeing.
I thought we might do,
like venom wise.
I guess it would spoil who the main person is because you'd have to see them. It'd be like a Columbo episode where your nan's like, "Wonder who the murderer is."
Yeah,
shows you at the start. You would see who it was.
Yeah. So at the school budget meeting, Robert Patrick is what is he? Angry.
He turns up while the head teacher is locking up, and he goes, "Oh,
yeah, I need to borrow a pencil."
Yeah, he's a bit sex offendery. He goes, "Oh, I need to borrow a pencil," but it turns out the red flags were for nothing because he isn't sex offendery. What he wanted to do was stab her in the hand with a pencil, so he really did need one.
Yeah, that bit when he stabs her in the hand is pretty shocking. I mean, I just kind of felt like you go into this film, you don't expect it to be gory. You get the YA feel, like it's all going to be a bit safe, but then the pen goes right through the hand.
Yeah, he gets her right through the hand, and then we have like a tense. It's not really in tune with the rest of the film because it's almost like a slasher at this point, right? So you get like he's taken the time to padlock the school closed.
Yeah.
She slashes him in the face with the keys him, and then runs back, and they have a bit of an encounter where she eventually manages to get the keys back. She escapes with the music teacher kind of at the deer doing like a big. She's at the door going, "Oh, let us go and get help." He goes, "No, don't bother getting help. Just stay here while I narrowly escape." She narrowly escapes. The coach is kind of stuck in the door, like thrashing, and "Oh, brr, you've escaped from me." And then the head teacher goes, "Oh, phew, thank goodness for that." Only to then be stabbed with scissors because the music teacher is also bad, and she gets
like
scissored.
a motionless stabbing.
I always wanted to do that. It's I thought it was quite a fun opening sting.
Yeah.
Like it reminded me of like an episode of Supernatural or something. You just imagine it to flash to the opening credits. I think actually it does do that. Like the music kicks in at that point, and then we get the title scroll.
Another Offspring song. I don't know. It's not, is it? It's just.
And I think it's more like 90s as like an amen beat and like.
There's something like this. The soundtrack of this movie reminded me of Scream in a way.
Yeah.
There was this sort of like, kind of like electronic, but these sort of quite sinister.
Kevin Williamson probably writes it into the script. Must have this beat There's sick beats.
The false memory I've had of this one as well, I seem to think that you talking about the relevance of the teacher with the cold. I could have sworn Harvey Danger's Flagpole Sitter was on the soundtrack to this movie.
Oh wow!
But it wasn't. At least not in the running of the film.
That was American Pie, right? I mean, it was on every teen movie, wasn't it? And then strangely made the migration over to Peep Show, which was.
It's definitely in that kind of late 90s pop punk era, though, where where you put things on, and a lot of it was about the world being terrible, but it was just pretend terrible in them days.
So looking at the soundtrack, I did the only other song I think I noticed was a Creed song. I'm 18. I was like, is that Creed? I mean, it's pretty impossible not to identify Creed from what's his name? What is his name? Scott Stapp.
Scott Stapp. Stop it. Yeah.
Stop it. There's also like some covers of.
Yeah, I was gonna say like a couple of like. When you're in a hobbycraft or something, and they've got like cheaper to license covers of cheaper to license covers of like famous songs, because there's definitely a cover of Another Brick in the Wall that comes on, and there's something that it ends with as well.
Is it
David Bowie?
Out?
As It Changes?
Yeah. A really weird version of Changes by someone called Shawn Mullins. Yeah, that was strange.
Shawn Mullins, that is an extra medium name. Just like someone to be the most normal man in the world, someone who you might meet on like a team building day. Hello, it's me, Shawn Mullins.
Hey, it's me, Shawn Mullins, and just wanted to let you know that this is Changes. There's also a version of School's Out, the Alice Cooper song, which I heard. I can't even remember what point of the song it was. It was almost like they'd gone, right, what songs mention kids or being young or being at school, but we can get versions that are cover versions to include on this soundtrack.
Yeah.
And that's what they did.
Yeah.
I respect them for it.
Yeah. In many ways, there was a young man, not making as many films at the time. He was about to make his big break. Young Zachary Snyder was probably watching this and thought, music choices can be as on the nose as you like.
There we go. And the score is composed by Marco Beltrami, who recently has done things like the soundtrack for all the Fear Street trilogy, Quiet Place Part 2, Underwater, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. He's all over it.
Now you've said it, Ben. Like, I know this is the score rather than the soundtracking, but I remember how many needle drops were in that Fear Street trilogy.
Oh yeah.
There's
literally no. He didn't even need to do the soundtrack. We only need 30 seconds of score, if that's okay. The rest are going to be endless needle drops.
How was the budget for this film? $300 million.
Well, we've got the entire Michael Jackson back catalogue on the movie.
We've got the Michael Jackson back catalogue covered by the surviving Beatles. That's how much money I've spent.
Wow.
But the school is the most aggro school ever.
As I gather from notes. Aggro. Everyone just calm down. There's like couples arguing. There's people getting, well, I say people. Elijah Wood as Casey Connor getting his nuts crushed on a pole by people.
Yeah. Doesn't he say like, "I'm very sorry for breathing" or something like that? He's apologizing to.
He says like, "No, not the pole," and then Usher's like, "No, mate, I'm gonna smash you into the pole."
Yeah.
Fucking nuts, mate. Lovely.
Yeah.
So we're pretty much introduced to everybody. So Casey Connor, well, not everybody, but Casey is played by Elijah Wood, and he's like the photographer for the school newspaper. And Delilah Prophet is the paper's editor-in-chief. And she kind of like treats him like shit, but I think he kind of loves her.
Like a little lackey, but he loves her. And her thing is that she is stone cold bitch number one right around the school.
Yeah. And she's also head cheerleader. Oh yeah, of course she is. And her boyfriend is Stan, who is the jock. He is the star quarterback of the football team with his little tightly curled hair. But he's like, I've had enough of being in a football team. I want to do academics.
I want to not be great at academics, but I want that to be the thing that I'm trying to do.
Yeah. I don't want to be a good football quarterback. I want to be a shit.
I think
smart man.
the whole thing, a shit smart man. Well, you shit smart him. I think everyone's kind of. I mean, the theme is kind of like hidden lives. Everyone's like, they appear to be something, but there's like the opposite of that going on underneath. Zeke appears to be a stoner dropout sort of guy, but he's actually incredibly intelligent and
35-year-old businessman.
Yeah, he's
with
got
with a hexagon haircut.
That's to hide. I mean, the hexagon haircut is an interesting choice. It feels like, how did he get it to do that? Did he just push down on his head until the hair stands up on the ends like that?
It looks like he's been wearing some sort of headgear like for about 3 months, and he's taken it off.
That is proper like nap hair. I feel like if you sit properly in bed at night time, you wouldn't wake up with hair like that. But if you fall asleep for 10 minutes on the sofa, that's how you get that hair.
I would say, yeah, but on one side, but it's all the way around. Like it's
his hair on this background image is not the same.
No, that's Halloween H2O hair.
Yeah,
we're talking faculty hair. It's different ball game altogether.
Maybe just tosses and turns in his sleep and just lays on one bit at a time.
Yeah,
we've got.
Who else is in it?
So Clea DuVall is Stokely Mitchell, who comes across as quite a cold sort of like goth. And I think Delilah accuses her of being a lesbian at some point as well.
Yeah, made a note here. Oh, the cheerleader is a massive bigot. Okay.
Yeah. And her secret thing is that she's actually a science fiction reader who actually fancies boys. I guess that's her secret.
My secret is that I'm straight, you know. And she loves science fiction. I think, you're a science fiction nerd, you idiot. And then as soon as things start kicking off, they're like, what happens in the book? We want to know so we can survive. Give her some respect. Put some respect on her name.
Stokes. I quite like her name. Stokely.
She got, I mean, I don't know whether they're going for the greasy hair look or whether that was I
think it's just a style.
It's a look, and she goes, I'm never going to change
climate change, in it. Back then, everyone was greasy. Yeah. It's all dried up.
Everyone was greasy. I mean, remember wet look gel was wet look gel was it.
Use one small pea-sized blob. Everyone uses about half a jar.
And then whenever it rains, everyone's crying because the gel is like leaked into their eyes.
And in the 90s,
why is your head shining?
Really corrosive.
Why have you gone blind? It's the wet look gel. What was your favorite wet look gel though? Green or blue?
I think I always had the blue one.
Yeah,
and like it really splashed out at the end of that tub. Like it's dead hard to keep inside there. Like and I remember the smell. At some point, someone brought some wax in, and it was like blew everyone's minds. What? Yeah. How did you get your hair to?
That changed the game. That wet. Did. And then it was like after wax, there was clay, and then styling gum. You remember that?
Yeah.
It went off. It really went off the deep end.
And now, in the halcyon days of 2021, nice pomade to really get myself in order.
I mean, it's literally so far removed from my daily lifestyle now that it's actually a bit frustrating.
Now it's all about beard oils.
Oh yeah,
I've got to have the nicest smelling beard oils.
Yeah, and that's it. And I was going to say pubic hair spray.
That's where it's going. That's where the society is going.
Going for a mousse to really get the volume.
Mousse. Yeah. I think that was there was a period, mousse and straighteners and that kind of emo-y kind of phase.
Yeah. Mousse is always good because it makes a satisfying thing. It's like you're making a dessert.
Yeah, it sounds great. That's a good impression as well.
Wet look gel. Why did we want our hair to look wet?
Everyone just likes to appear like they've been swimming. Yeah, I know how to swim. And what?
You bloody stinker, chlorine, you do.
Like to look like I've been swimming and then set my hair perfectly, like set like an old lady, like Helen Buddy Daniels going down there.
It was rock solid, wasn't it? It was like
it was weird because it started to flake. Like if you had your fringe flicked up like that in a quiff and you bent a lock.
Someone snapped your fringe.
Snapped your fringe.
I knocked a tub of wet look gel like onto my friend's carpet, and I remember his mum gave me a proper bollocking. I think it's like the first bollocking I've received from someone who wasn't like a teacher or a parent. or my
Oh,
parent.
really?
And I remember
Was it your fault?
A carpet
Oh, no.
probably still
All
looks
over the
wet
house.
20
Oh.
years later.
Yeah.
Carpet's perfect. It's not. It's
It's
been
not
wiped,
changed.
wiped clean.
Someone walked in the house. Your carpet's wet. It's not. Just looks it.
Your carpet's white clean like lino.
So I don't even know what happens.
So Hexagon Head turns up. It's the most aggro school ever, and he's making his money selling fake IDs, but also drugs. My note here is that surely there is more money in drugs than fake IDs.
His fake IDs have got like Jet Li on them as well, and when he's selling them not to a non-Asian.
He's selling them to Danny Masterson, the guy from that 70s show. Have you ever watched that?
Yeah.
Which was big at the time as well.
His name in this is Fuck Up Number One.
Yeah. He's in prison now, or on his way or something.
Oh god. Normative determinism. He was called Fuck Up and now he's off to prison.
Thank you, Robert Rodriguez. You ruined Danny Matheson's life.
Yeah, and I think when he's selling the drugs, which are in little blue biro,
little Bics,
and
he's got Bics for days. Wonder why he decided that. Is like, right, so I've developed this drug of my own concoction. It's going to really, really make me a mint here at the school. Now the marketing, that's going to be tricky. Bics, yes,
Bics, Clea.
Good way to portion it. Yeah.
I think it's quite smart. I mean, there's also like the Bics pens, they're everywhere. You get a box of it and it's just absolutely jammed.
He goes to Staples. He has to go to Staples 3 times a week.
Do you reckon Zeke's garage, though, is just full of the middle bit of the actual pen bits of a ton of Bics?
What I mean, his garage is full of like it looks like Dr. Robotnik's lab or something.
He's got a gun hanging around. He's just got a gun hanging around. At one point, Casey's like looking at it. He goes, "Huh, it's called a gun." He's like, "Well, you fucking just got it on the table for you, weirdo."
Yeah.
I've also invented this in my lab. That's why he's never seen one. That's why Casey's not seen one.
What is he doing? He's in that lab. He's got like it's like bubbling bits. I don't even know what all this equipment's called, but it's got like 7 Bunsen burners on the go.
Yeah, he's got some clamp stands. He's got a few conical flasks there.
Conical flask, yeah. Got some dry ice. It looks like he's about to present like a children's Halloween special. Like he's got dry ice. He's pouring like potions and stuff.
Yeah, he's gonna pour things between 2 different cups, like stereotypical mime science.
It's all for show. It's all for show. All he's doing is crushing up caffeine pills.
That is right. Yeah.
So he gets confronted by Elizabeth Burke, played by Famke Janssen, doing her best "I'm not sexy" impression, which we know is going to turn into a "I am sexy."
Yeah.
She'll take those glasses off at some point and then literally be, especially for the time, one of the famously most attractive women in the world from films.
Yeah, there was something about her in this film, even when she gets decapitated. Where I was like, wow.
Look at those tentacles.
If you're really thinking about looking for good breeding at a genetic level, people look for healthy mates. Someone who can survive a decapitation is powerfully attractive.
Exactly, and she loves hexagon heads, it seems.
This is very attracted to that shape.
I find in any film where it seems like there's potentially going to be a teacher-student relationship, it is very odd. It gets treated, especially like in the 80s and 90s, as a sort of fantasy come true. But in the realistic thing is
in real life, if he hadn't really been 25, she would have been a predator.
Yeah.
And she kind of gets around it by wearing glasses and going, "Oh, don't look at me, I'm ever so mousy."
Yeah. It does get a bit weird, especially when he like offers to sell her condoms.
Yeah,
that's really strange.
Do you want either chocolate flavored bum medicine or cherry flavored Johnnies?
What did she say when she's walking away? She said that's very
Just very inappropriate. If you hadn't
inappropriate.
If you hadn't just been really cool in my English class and actually kind of actually does, she goes, actually, she says, it's not what Robinson Crusoe's about. And he goes, fucking is what it's about. It's about bloody loneliness, isn't it?
How come the time I tried to sell Mr. Owen some condoms in English, he gave me the attention?
Yeah.
It's because
that time he was flirting with you and you went, tell you what, Mr. Robinson, get this pack of Johnnies down you, mate. And he was like, out.
Getting down,
the smallest size possible. All right. Teeny tiny. Just made for a chode size.
Chode size.
There's a new student as well called Mary Beth Louise Hutchinson. We know that because she says her full
I said
name.
Luigi then.
Luigi.
Mary Beth Luigi.
It's a me, Luigi.
She wears green.
Wears green. And she befriends. Well, I say she befriends. She kind of tries to befriend Stokely because Mary Beth's got no friends, but Stokely seems to have no friends, but through choice, which is kind of like.
Why does she pick Stokely? Is because thing is, it's weird because the whole mindset or the goal of the alien is to get everyone and assimilate everyone. But Mary Beth's like just, I mean, spoiler alert, she's the thing, but she doesn't seem to be. She's just having like talking to people, going along with the crowd, making friends. Like, what exactly is she up to?
I guess if you assimilate everyone, you don't really get to meet any new people. So maybe she's just thinking, I'm going to get amongst it. Going to meet some people. Going to meet some people.
Maybe it's like practicing being a human schoolgirl. You know, some people don't get a chance to do that.
I mean, I tried, but I mean, there's like there's loads of this where she's like with Josh Hartnett, with old Hexagon Head alone, and like, why did she turn him then? I guess she doesn't want to.
Yeah, I guess
leaves that to her Gyoza minions.
Yeah, and maybe like it's a bit like, you know, if you could talk to animals, yes, it'd be cool, but they'd only want to talk about what animals talk about. Like if you could talk to dolphins, they'd talk about fish all the time. Very boring.
Yeah.
So if you only could talk to gyozas, maybe she just wants a bit of stimulating conversation because she's the only one.
Yeah.
Would you watch?
Wasn't Gyoza the baddie in Ghostbusters as well?
Yeah, she is Gyoza the Gyozarian.
What is she there? Is she a chicken? Vegetable.
I reckon she's a king prawn.
King prawn, yeah.
She looks like a king prawn. Mary Beth, we were talking about.
Yeah. Mary Beth Luigi Hutchinson.
The king prawn.
She's the king prawn.
So Mary Beth is played by Laura Harris, who was also in Severance. I was like, I kind of recognize her for something. She just had a different haircut in Severance. Yeah. That was literally
different accent. She's from Vancouver, Canada. I only looked this up because I think you mentioned Ben, her accent like disappears, like it melts halfway through the film.
I think when they get
from Atlanta, is she?
When they get to Zeke's lab, she says something. I was like, where's her accent gone? And then I kept an eye out for it for the rest of the movie, and it's really quite strong to start with, and then I don't know.
It's really strong. Yeah.
Was that a thing? They went, oh, let her accent fade for a bit because she's
they had a little dial fixed to her back. Turn that down a bit. It's gone too far.
She's actually an alien.
You know, maybe you could bring it
Italian because she's Norwegian.
You could bring a bit like what's his name in the House of Gucci right now, Jared Leto with his unrecognizable thing. And it genuinely sounds like he's doing a pretend Super Mario accent.
Jesus. When people do that, this person is unrecognizable in their new role. Like, I mean, sometimes that's good if they're like a character actor or something, but occasionally it's just, what on earth? Like, why does that film, which has got nobody else in prosthetics, acting like someone 30 or 40 years older than them, why is that needed?
I heard a great point on, not to go on a Jared Leto sideline, I heard a great point on a podcast the other day pointing out that all these people that go method acting, no one method acts as someone really nice, do they? Only method actors absolute arseholes.
Yeah.
Wow, you've been absolutely delightful on set. Yeah, method acting.
I'm method acting. I'm playing Dr. Bernardo in this film, so I'm being really charitable.
Dr. Bernardo. Wow. So around about this point, Mary Beth is like her and Zeke are having just some alone time occasionally.
They're just having a bit of a chat. She's getting amongst it, getting to know people. Meanwhile, in the staff room, we get Chekhov's suggestion of being stabbed in the eye with a pen.
Oh yeah.
The teacher who's a drinker is, all of the teachers. This is why it's the most aggro school, because everyone's a bit problematic. We see sickly nurse Salma Hayek. We see the T1000 being a thirsty little bitch. She's drinking all the water because he's an alien.
What's he drinking out of as well? Like a little
There's
weird
paper cups.
Paper cones.
Yeah. I always really wanted to try one.
They're rubbish. You don't get much water in them.
Yeah, but you can just reuse it, can't you? I don't know, something about like the idea of not being able to put it down seems really practical.
Yeah, I did think that.
But he's dead. He's dead thirsty.
Yeah. Who else? I guess the head teacher's not turned up just yet. Piper Laurie's turned up wearing even more makeup. She looks even more like the Total Recall woman. Is she actually the Total Recall woman? I'm gonna have to check that out.
I don't think so. But no. So she was like,
it's not.
She was an actress from like the 50s, I think. Made a name in the 50s. And then in the faculty, she was like, yeah, I'll be an alien. I'll be a gyoza alien. So yeah, we're introduced to all the faculty, and I think we're supposed to think that some of them have turned, not necessarily all of them at this point. Definitely not Salma Hayek, because we get to see her turned.
Just the thirsty ones are aliens.
Just the thirsty ones, yeah. Anyone who's guzzling down some H2O, you know that they're an alien, because this alien is obviously very, very thirsty.
Yeah, bloody T1000 especially. It's like the tiger that came to tea. He's drinking it all up. There's going to be none left.
It reminds me of sometimes when you've had a heavy night out and you wake up like, I don't know, 5-6 a.m. thirstier than you've ever been in your life.
Oh yeah. Wake up with a right old druth on. You've got to guzzle as much water as you can.
Water in that particular moment is the best tasting thing ever.
If you when you brush your teeth or use some mouthwash and then drink water straight from the tap, I could just do that. I could fill my entire body up with water.
Coldest water.
Going. Yeah, but then I walk away and go, I've gone too far.
Your eyeballs are floating.
Sloshing away on your way to work.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
So what happens now?
Casey finds a gyoza out on the field.
Oh yeah.
And not having any ingredients to stir fry it up with, he takes it to the science teacher. And the whole gang comes around.
Oh yeah, everyone's interested in this.
Everyone puts the differences
No one would
aside.
give a shit at real school. No one would care at all about someone finding a little nugget on the floor.
Yeah, it'd be like, just found a bit of poo, mate, put it in the bin. But thankfully, he takes to the science teacher, and then they drop it. The science teacher must be a normal man at the moment because he's fine.
Yeah.
They drop it in the water, and at this point, I don't think they're excited enough that it immediately replicates like a gremlin and comes back to life and gets like big spooky tendrils out of it.
Little noodles. There's a good bit where Stokely puts the hand against the glass, and it kind of matches her hand, like with the noodle tentacles.
So do you think it's not like, I imagine now with that whole thing and the big stringies that they do, it feels like when they inevitably take people over, they're just sitting there like in your head, piloting you around like a puppet with those strings.
Yeah. They have like little levers in your head, and they pull them and stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, they've done it. They've invented it. The coach continues to be weird, like he's standing out there in the sprinklers. But then we get kind of a naked teacher zombie in the scene with Stan, who's already said he wants to quit being a cheerleader.
Yeah,
he wants to quit being a footballer.
I'm tired of being a cheerleader.
So you're not a cheerleader, you're a football player. What?
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's not an academic though. It's a mistake you might make.
Glad you agree.
So
he's very dumb. He walks into a door.
Doesn't it happen before where Delilah and Casey hide in the teachers' lounge, or is that after?
This is coming up because first things first, they have to have Stan is having a shower, and then the old lady teacher comes in looking a little bit worse for wear.
Mm-hmm.
Despite the fact that Stan is in the nudie, he seems quite keen to help the old
Well, he's a
lady
nice guy, isn't he? Underneath, he's only a prick on the outside. So, but like she comes in, her like she's like melting away. She's like turning into like a cracker or something. Like she's turning like her skin's like what's that cheese?
Yeah,
It's cheesing up.
She's turning to Freddy Krueger. She's like Parmesan.
Yeah, and then it's a horrible bit where Stan accidentally rips her hair off, like rips a bit of a scalp off.
Oh, you'd feel bad, wouldn't you? You're like, I was just run out and I've ripped your hair all off.
What he does actually pushes her away.
Yeah. She comes in. Off. You know, Ben was talking about being really thirsty when you're a bit hungover. She's like that. She's come in there. She's like, parched, absolutely parched. And
just before it cuts away, like the CG kicks in and like her face starts to really melt in real time.
It's melting, but it's also that sort of weird bubbly bit underneath the skin.
Yeah.
And Casey comes in. He's like, Stan kind of low key stops him being bullied by Usher.
Yeah.
Because like Casey's like hanging out, just getting changed, and he hears do, 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 do. Yeah, and he slides in, starts bullying him, and then Stan comes in and goes, right, Usher, and he goes, oh, I wasn't bullying anyone. See you later. And then Casey comes in just in time to see that, and then this is where we get the kind of being fed a lie by the alien teachers going, oh yeah, she is poorly. We thought she'd be able to see the school year out, but she's actually too poorly. So if you could not mention it, because
I think somebody did mention earlier, oh God, retire. Like when she was just sat there being old.
Yeah, the miserable drunk teacher was like, oh fucking hell, can you say retire? Just before the other guy goes, yeah, stick a pen in my eye. Hope that doesn't really happen later. They're kind of saying, oh no, she's poorly. She was meant to retire anyway at the end of the year, but actually she's too poorly, so she's just gonna be off now. But don't mention it to anyone, eh? And this is one of the weirdest bits where it goes like, because they're telling Stan that, and he goes, Casey's there, kind of looking at the window, looking at the coach being weird, standing in the sprinklers. It's like, Casey, do you get it? Casey, do you get it? And then it does like a triple zoom in. He like looks at it.
Oh yeah. Please do that again. That was fantastic.
Your camera couldn't quite keep up, so you were just kind of cutting like forward. Yeah. Also, you sounded a bit like EastEnders.
Yeah. It was like a.
It was ridiculous. It was almost like
I liked it.
You liked it?
I just think like it's a bit tongue in cheek. I think this movie, like a lot. I mean, that's the most egregious. That's the only most egregious part of the film. But like, I like all of the little nods to like other things. Like there's a bit later on with the Gyoza getting the mouse that looked exactly like the bit from the Thing, getting the dog from the movie The Thing.
Yeah, there's a big Thing vibe to that whole section, isn't there?
Yeah, I liked that. They were doing like YA body snatchers or YA.
YA.
Geordie body snatchers. I see.
I really liked it. I thought it was fun.
There's something about like the YA sort of stuff from the 90s though, that just something about it feels a lot more approachable than the YA stuff of now. I find it can be a bit I don't know.
Is that just because you're older now? Like you're not a YA. You're an OA. Maybe. Old
arse.
An old adult.
An old adult.
I think you're like a MA, medium adult. I think we're probably all medium adults at this point.
Medium. I don't know. Something about it. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe if I looked at it from older eyes back then, it would have been different. Older eyes.
I think it's fine. There is an aesthetic of the time, right? Like late 90s, these things, even with hexagon hair and things like that, there is a comfort to it. that when we see it, because I think we have a cultural touch point of those things, because people had hexagon hair and wet look gel when we were in and around school, whereas I think you mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, Ben.
Actually,
you see the young people in New Scream now, and it's like, who are these?
Who are these? They're just all young and attractive. No one stands out at all.
I think everyone in school had the wet look quiff. I don't think anyone dared to go outside of that hairstyle for at least years 7, 8, and 9 for me.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's the same.
Year 7, and I had a wicked set of curtains.
Curtains, yeah. I think that would be just before my time.
Yeah, a couple of years older than you, so I was riding that curtains wave. Didn't have an undercut though. I'm not a footballer. Yeah. Jeez.
I always had this fear. I mean, I don't have the fear anymore. But whenever I went to a hairdresser to get my haircut, I was convinced that they were trying to make me look like a footballer. Like every single time I went, I came away and like they tried to make me look like a footballer every time. They did some like a slight faux hawk sort of thing. I never asked for that. I just cut my hair like a normal person.
Thing is, like as a schoolboy, surely the best, and this is before iPhones and so on. Surely the best reference for men's haircuts would have been if you had a football sticker album. Like, yeah.
Wow, football sticker album.
This one
still
didn't have a football sticker album. I had a Jurassic Park one, had a Sonic one. So that was the only 2 haircuts I could ask for.
A Velociraptor.
Dr. Alan Grant, please. He's wearing a hat. I can't cut it like that.
Okay. Oh, Ellie Sattler it is then.
Yeah.
Illustrious.
Got a nice sort of illustrious set of like really layered hair. I have like a Lionel Blair cut like that man.
Oh wow. Okay, so Delilah and Casey, they hide in the teacher's lounge because they want to find a story. Is that right?
They're doing some work for the newspapers where they sort of allude to their relationship as well. Like Delilah says something, being an absolute bitch about someone being ill. Said, "Oh, knew she was taking pills." And Casey says he has a go at her, but then when she sort of say, "Oh, I said you could be pretty cool."
Pickup artist technique. Yeah,
you can be pretty cool when you're not being an absolute dickhead.
Yeah,
being a stone cold bitch, and she goes, "Oh, pretty cool." Mine is.
Yeah,
not right now.
She's taken that crumb. Said, "Oh, you can be pretty cool. You're not being a right bastard." She goes, "Oh, pretty cool, you say?"
And he goes, "Yes." But they quickly hide in the cupboard because some of the teachers come in. So Coach Willis and Miss Olsen come in, and they're clearly talking about parasites and shit. They're like talking all in hushed tones, like we're bloody aliens or something.
Yeah, they're literally like really, really blatantly. It's like, "Oh, have you converted all the teachers to being aliens yet?" So most of them are aliens, just like we are now.
Put the work in there, for God's sake. Stop drinking water, you dirty.
This is what I mean.
Bitch.
Surely they're a hive mind. Why would you even need to ask that to each other? Have you converted the other teachers yet? Why you know that we haven't?
You know you are me. What are you doing? I'm trying to make it look like
I hate football talk. Just real micromanager. You know all the same things that I do. Yes, but I want to hear you say it.
I mean that's it sounds like sneaky exposition. Get it in there. I mean, they should just be looking at each other and I don't know, talk to each other like ants. Just the ants have a hive mind? I don't think so. But they should just be like a weird buzzing kind of look between them. That's all you need.
Maybe they don't have a hive mind. Maybe it implies they have one because of the Gyoza the Gyozarian in charge of them all. But maybe they don't. Maybe they've just a strong sense of community.
When Delilah gets got, doesn't she her eyes go white and she says they know you're here or something along those lines?
Yeah, she can do that. Maybe she texts them. There's no texting then, paged them. Maybe
she emailed them on Thingy's Apple Mac computer that he had in his laboratory.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were all stoned. They wouldn't have noticed her clicking and clacking away.
We would have noticed the tone. She was like, "Oh, I'm writing a funny email."
Yeah. Okay, so they're hiding in the cupboard, and then the nurse. This is this bit, right?
Yeah, the nurse comes in.
Nurse Salma Hayek comes in going, "Oh, I've still got this bloody cold. Anybody got any Lemsip?" And they go, "We haven't got Lemsip, but what we do have is a parasite for your ear roll."
Oh yeah, does it work? Does it get rid of the headache in that?
It does. It
And
really
all
does.
goes are in your head, pulling the levers. Give it a go.
Clea, you're right up by plugging you up. It's
So this, for some reason, this is like the goriest change of anybody. You don't see anyone else get turned into an alien this way with like the blood spurting everywhere, do you?
No.
I don't think so. No.
Wait, were you going to say anything, Luke? Sorry.
Don't remember.
Oh.
Well, they're hiding in the cupboard, and they witness it happen. Like, so, Thingy kind of gobs up a fresh one right into Sam's ear hole, and like shoots in there, and like blood spatters out, and it looks like she's dead. But then there's a body in the cupboard.
That's the old lady teacher.
That's the old lady teacher, Mrs.
What are you doing
Brummel,
here?
who's...
What, you were poorly? You should be.
Well, they do that in their exposition as well, don't they? Because she was a dried up, crusty old bint, wasn't she? No aliens can live in her. That failed.
Oh yeah, they pretty much say that she was too old. The alien couldn't survive because she was a crispy old brick.
Too old and too poorly.
She was like a Jacob's cracker, that one.
She was like a bloody cracker wheat, that one.
Rye bread.
Oh,
She just kept calling her different types. She was like an unbranded wheat cereal biscuit, that one.
Turned 60 in this state, you're dry as a rye Vita.
Yum.
She was like shredded wheat and not the frosted kind. No milk.
No milk. Yeah. Zero milk. You got to use your own saliva to get it down your neck.
She was claggy, like a scone with no cream or jam.
That's what they've been researching all this time, just all the driest foods they can use this reference.
Yeah.
Luminell, veins like porridge oats. Can get anywhere.
Yeah.
So Casey and Delilah like run out of the cupboard. I think one of them pokes Robert Patrick on the way out with an umbrella in the dick. I don't know what they did.
Like, boom. Yeah,
It's like from The Simpsons. Old man is hit by football in groin. And it's dumb. And when they run out, they find the principal walking about doing her. This is the first time we see the principal since the opening sequence, right?
Yeah.
So we realized that she is actually alive, and then we put two and two together. She's got to be an alien as well.
The thing is, for this as well, though,
back up now.
She's also better. But also, this is another thing. So, if that was the case, I don't think because Robert Patrick has still got the key scratches on his face.
Yeah, she should be covered in like.
She should be stabbed up. She got like scissored to death.
We don't know where she got scissored though.
Yeah, maybe she just cut a jacket to distract her, and she's
my
toes. My jacket.
Oh, you killed me by stabbing me in the toes.
How quickly did they clean up Salma Hayek's bloody face as well?
They go on them wet paper cups and just use it to wipe her face.
Got the J cloths out. Went quick.
Well, she's the nurse.
Chamois leather.
She'd know.
Polished her up.
So they walk out like, oh, everything's fine. And the principal's like, well, everyone looks all right to me. And then Casey and Delilah just leave. But he returns pretty quickly with the cops in tow and his parents. What a little grass.
Snitches get stitches, kid.
His dad is
Shooter McGavin.
Shooter McGavin. Yeah, he is Shooter McGavin. I was thinking the guy from Requiem for a Dream. Juice by Cappy. Do you know that?
Yeah.
But yeah, he's Shooter McGavin. Yeah.
Shooter McGavin. He's also, is he in Flubber? I feel like he's in Flubber.
I feel like he's in Flubber. I've not seen Flubber since I was like 10, but he's definitely in Flubber.
I think I'm pretty sure
I think he played the Flubber. Yeah, okay. I can picture that. Yeah. I think I remember him bouncing around or getting
flubbed.
He got flubbed. You got flubbed the big one, that guy. I remember that.
Flubbed? I've just been flubbed.
Imagine stepping in some flubber accidentally.
Oh.
Bouncing around for days.
Who's brought this into us?
The best thing about Flubber is when he made it into a little spray. Remember that?
Yeah.
Put it on the bottom of your shoes.
I mean, Flubber's supposed to be alive, and he's like pulling bits off of him to use in a spray for his basketball shoes.
Literally vaporizing it and then spraying it around. And
I mean, he's like an evil scientist.
That's the least horrific thing in that film, though. I still remember very painfully, first time I saw Flubber, I think we brought this up on the show before, his wife / his robot wife gets baseball batted to death.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Horrific.
yeah, Johnny Five
Yeah.
style. Also, some guy gets like a bowling ball, hits
Yeah.
him, goes like up by the aeroplanes. I seem to remember,
Gets
and then
bowling
falls down and
bollocks.
hits him in the head again. Surely that would
He'd be dead.
demodularize him to his core
It'd
components.
literally be like smashed to smithereens if a bowling ball fell from 20,000 feet or whatever.
That's weird. I'm just
smashed to custard.
Then again, the ball has been flubbered, so it just bounces off. I guess it's like being hit by a one of them
marshmallow
floaties.
Flump.
Flump.
marshmallow man.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
What's
so,
weird? I don't think I read this out, but the actual synopsis of this film on IMDb like really hinges on this moment. So it says, when Casey Connor, Herrington High School's newspaper photographer, witnesses the murder of a nurse and then sees her alive again, he decides to investigate the bizarre happenings. I mean, this is like what?
Kind of incorrect, isn't it? As a log line, like it'd be more like a group of
mismatched teams
join
forces to
fight an alien invasion.
Investigate the potentially alien. They can't say that. And then potentially extraterrestrial happenings at their high school.
An alleged alien invasion.
Yeah,
alleged. Yeah, you got to say that alleged alien invasion. It might not be that, but it probably is.
Mismatched teenagers fight the T-1000.
I mean, yeah. The fact that it's kind of very heavily inspired by Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah.
But at least it kind of wears that on its sleeve by actually like quoting it and sort of harking back to it, I guess.
Well, they did quote it, and then someone says, "Well, actually, that ripped off Robert Heinlein's."
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they're basically saying, "Don't you come after me, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, because you yourself."
Yeah.
Because you've got to think about, if you're pointing the finger, the lawyers of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, have a quick look at those 3 other fingers. Pointing right back at you.
Pointing right back at yourself, man. There we go.
Okay. So Juice by Cappy and the mothers arrived at the thing, and then he said, "Let's go look at the cupboard where the body is supposed to be." Inside, they find a rubber doll, and then they instantly go, our kid is obviously insane on drugs.
Insane / on drugs.
They've properly stitched him up, haven't they? And it's like, I can see. I can like gaslighting him. They're probably like, I can see why you might have been confused. This is a spooky plastic skeleton, and if you were on drugs, you might think that
it were a dead body.
It were a dead body. And obviously the nurse isn't dead, and no one is an alien. Why even suggesting that?
Yeah.
So around about this,
go on, sorry.
I was just going to say, around about this time, they clearly are starting to turn the students into aliens as well, because they're calling in students in groups to be examined by.
They've got an efficient thing going the next day. But yeah, Casey's already been stitched up. Basically, his parents don't trust him. They stop him from. They're on to him. So the aliens are all after him.
They take his porn.
They take his porno. Yeah, no porno. Yeah.
He says like, "No more flogging the bishop," and is that how dads talk to the kids in '98?
I thought it was bashing the bishop.
Maybe it's bashing.
Flogging the bishop. No more having a bloody wank, right? All right. No more having a hand shandy.
Yeah, they properly like. What I want to do to punish you for allegedly being on drugs is to make sure there's it's like no phone, no computer, no porno. What do you want? I want you to sit here and exist in this room in silence. They're proper like train spotting their music, to go and detox.
Yes. Also, back in those days, you used your imagination loads as well. What's that? No porno? Don't worry. Got it all saved up here, mate. Don't you worry about it.
But then his solution to it when they leave is, right, I'll set this robot off and then I'll jump out the window. What's he doing with that robot?
That's a weird little robot, isn't it? It's like a home kit
robot.
You're
supposed to think that someone's going to listen in and go, he's in there.
Yeah. We didn't take away his Lego Technic, and I'll be embarrassed to go back and take it away now.
His Meccano robot. He falls out the bedroom window and he sees Robert Patrick, Piper Laurie, and the head teacher stood there, and it's all a bit weird. Like, are they there? Are they not there? But then they reach for him, and his dad's like, "What are you doing?" And then
What are you
obviously his
doing?
hands are down his trousers. I thought I told you not to.
Like it's the only way I can get aroused is by falling out of the window. You should give me my porno back.
Yeah.
Very specific.
He didn't even see the magazine. It might not have been
He actually
TNA
guides.
Monthly. It was falling out the window weekly.
He guides him back into the house with the same rolled up porno magazine. Like he guides him back in, like
Yeah,
by
he
the head.
does.
I think he kind of knocks him by the head and pulls him back in.
Yeah.
Um,
That's the only way you could control him. He's like looking like a carrot on a stick. He's like,
yeah. Ties it on his back so it hangs there, just following it around the house.
Gotta get it.
come here.
He does go back to school the next
What's
day.
that like a thing that babies have? A mobile. It's got a mobile full of porno magazines hanging above him.
In many ways, it's perfect because he cannot reach up for the porno and down to his trousers at the same time.
Exactly.
Oh no. The logistics just don't work. The aliens are super well organized now. They've got their heads together and they're saying, right, come here for a ear inspection and putting aliens in everyone. Our roving reporter / head cheerleader is in disguise wearing glasses.
Yeah.
She's Clark Kent in it, with her glasses and her hair up, saying she's incognito. But essentially, don't they all go to the science room to see the gyoza?
They're having a meeting because this is where they've had the meeting about Robert Heinlein and ripping off Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and they're trying to get those few people together. Meanwhile, Old Hexagon Chops and the new student are doing some copping off. She is basically saying, because we've already spoiled that she's the alien later, she's like Captain Kirk in it effectively. She's on an alien planet just sexing people up.
Yeah.
But she doesn't possess him because they hear in the next classroom them having a chat about aliens and they go in to make fun of them.
Yeah, that's a one bit where Zeke he burst into the room and made like an alien noise. I was like, you prick. Why did you do that?
Why did you do that?
And then but like Mary Beth, I mean I feel sorry for Mary Beth because she was laughing, but she could tell like it wasn't that funny. She was just laughing.
You
guys.
guys.
It's one of those things that it's awkward because that's about her. He's making fun of her people. So this is what aliens are like. I mean, funny, yeah.
She's like, you stupid prick.
Yeah.
And that's what.
Yeah.
This is what aliens sound like. Oh, I'm an alien. That's not what I sound like. I mean, good. Got him. Good joke. Yeah. And then the science teacher comes in.
John Stewart.
Yeah, and says, "What are you doing messing around in here?" And they go, "Oh, Casey here, who none of us believe, by the way, think you're
a massive.
Think you're a massive alien. This is the alien with no chill. Oh, but before I get onto no chill, this is also when they're rowing about arguing about like who's an alien and who isn't and whether things are going on. They're all fighting about it. This is where they lose the temper and describe to our roving reporter / head cheerleader, fuck you, tit bags, for calling her. She goes, oh, you're a lesbian, you are. He goes, oh, fuck off, tit bags. And she's like,
you've got me there. You've
you've
pulled my pants down.
You can say that like in a complimentary way to someone, like a term of endearment. All right, tit bags. How's it going?
Tit bags, how you doing, sunshine?
Tit bags. This is like your dad's mate from work that has an inexplicable nickname.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, tit bags.
Joey, Ginger, tit bags.
Knob teeth.
Jizzo. And Shart.
What?
Jizzo, Shart, Uncle Blade.
Wankstain.
Oh, way up. It's for the Viper. He's back in.
Yeah. Oh, not Viper.
So anyway, like after that big thing, the teacher breaks it up and they say, "Oh, people say you're an alien. If you were an alien, have you taken that to the college?" And he goes, "Did send it to the college actually. That alien said, 'Oh, you're not an alien, are you?'" and it's like an undercover policeman. If someone asks you, got to tell him. And he's like,
Very much, yeah.
yes, you an alien, even though none of us believe Casey because it's a ridiculous thing. And he goes, strangle. And he starts
He goes, what's that? Strangle.
Yeah.
He's got a little flow chart in his head. It's like, if confronted with an alien, do they have proof? Yes, no. Oh, strangle. It's
Just go straight for a strangle. That'll convince him.
Yeah.
He choke slams Zeke, old hexagon head, across the room. But
He choke slams him so hard that when he stands up, he's got an octagon hairstyle.
puts two more ankles on his hair for that thing, and he's like, "Oh my god, this isn't that's not even my final form."
By the end of the film, when he gets thrown across the ceiling of the lockers, he's like a crystal head, like a perfect circle.
It's like a dodecahedron.
That's what I was gonna say. Dodecahedron. So, what does he do? He takes the blade off of the
guillotine, like kicks out.
The guillotine. That's it.
Pretty cool, actually. I had to use that as a weapon, and he throws it like he uses it very proficiently. Like he must have done loads of flyers at some point.
Yeah, he's done flyers for all his drugs. Come get the drugs from my boot.
Yeah, he's chopping his way.
Yeah.
He's chopping his way through them all, and gives him a bick in the eye, just like he foreshadowed when none of these people were here in the staff room earlier on.
It doesn't get John Stewart straight away. John Stewart he like pushes him into the empty
Fish tank.
And he chops his fingers off, and his fingers are trying to finger all the kids. They're all creeping around.
Jesus Christ.
What's that, a trumpet noise? The butter guy in the house.
And it's old Douglas is at it again.
His fingers are trying to finger all the kids. Oh, yeah.
He is. His fingers, his alien fingers, are trying to go all up in the kids' business.
I suppose that is true.
That's when he biros in.
Yeah. And at first, it didn't seem to affect him. And then, what's his name? Josh Hartnett's on the floor. Is really wet. His wet hair is genuinely wet now. And he starts to cock loads of loads of bics, like with a shotgun. Like he's flipping all the tops off.
He's like Bic Wolverine. He's got them between his knuckles.
Exactly. But then, like, John Stewart falls backwards and he's like melting from the eyeball. He's
got a frothy head. Yeah, so that's confirmation. That's
revealing.
Confirmation. That's visual confirmation for basically every main character that yes, all the teachers are being turned into aliens. So now we need to go and make a plan.
This drug will make them get all foamy.
So they try and run away now, but the entire school at this point has been converted.
Yeah, I mean, because the ever so mousy English teacher's already had a go at Octagon Head.
Oh yeah.
And has appeared being really sexy now. He's going, I'm fed up of you pushing your drugs. I wear a red dress now and I've got contact lenses because I'm an alien. I'm acting unusually.
Yeah.
It's weird. Yeah. I wonder if all of the aliens start acting sexy at some point. Like all of them start wearing red dresses and contact lenses.
Yeah. Maybe the aliens are more like Smurfs. They've all got distinct characters.
Yeah. Papa.
And she's alien. The girl one.
I don't know any of the Smurfs.
Yeah, there's a clever one. I don't know. There's more of a Poddington P's house with all the distinct characters.
Papa Smurf and Smurfette, and also Gyalgam. That's not Gyalgam.
Gargamel. I think he wants to eat the Smurfs.
Yeah,
he fancies them, the weirdo. So when they leave the school and they drive, like I think that the like football team try to get Stan to come and play with us. Come
Usher appears again, doesn't he? Usher's there going, I'm an alien now. I mean, come and play football.
Come play football. Yeah. But when they drove away, they also see like a blockade, like a police blockade of one of the roads as well. So I don't know if we're meant to think that they've got to some of the police as well, possibly.
Well, they did get the one police.
The police were at the school, weren't they? So they're putting aliens in the policemen already as well.
They pop one
of
the
course.
Policemen. Yeah.
But essentially they all go back to Zeke's crib where he's like, my mum and dad, they're in Europe somewhere, I suppose. They might be.
Hiding from Michael Myers.
Be more specific. Where are they in Europe? Are they in North Wales? Tell us.
Might not be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Might not be. And that's where he reveals his like drug den where he's been making all the drugs with all this science gear, which is obviously just for show.
Yeah.
He's got a gun just on the side there.
He's got a gun on the side. He's got his drugs that are made of primarily caffeine pills.
He's got like a pet mouse that he instantly says, I
Kills him.
sever all emotional attachment to this mouse and will now infect him and dissect him.
Dissect, squeezes it to death.
Squeeze him to death. Yeah, poor Oscar.
Oh god. Jesus.
This is a rat that has like a name, and he's like, oh, sorry, Oscar, my old mate. I'm just gonna chop you up.
Sorry, tip bags.
Yeah.
This is essentially just for them to explain exactly how the parasite works, which is
it's a pretty cool little effect. I will say, so the special effects I thought in this film were actually okay. I mean, they do look a bit CG-ish, but I think they look quite good. And the bit where there's the bit where the alien shoots its things at the mouse at George, and also like when they open up the mouse and they're like looking inside, you can see where all of the tentacles are like splayed out, where it's puppeteering it,
where they've been steering it like Ratatouille under his hat.
Yeah, under his skin. Yeah, which is how Ratatouille does it as well.
Been driving around him.
So then we have work out that the drugs. Sorry, Andy. They also work out that the drugs are diuretics, so that's why it dries them out. Yeah, chuck a bit of coffee on them. Chuck a bit of gold blend all over them. They dry right up, and then they do the classic.
Does that mean you could put just like chuck salt on them? I mean, it must be salt everywhere.
Not a doctor, never claimed to be, but like diuretics, I'm pretty sure make you pass through water. I don't think they literally dry you out like drink. Like if you're a kid, and you drink vinegar. It doesn't like turn your blood to sand.
What's happened? How did Sandman get actually created? He went in a chip shop.
He drank a diuretic. He drank some vinegar.
He drank a pint.
He had too many caffeine pills.
Almost happened.
He didn't read the instructions right. Took too many.
This could have happened to my mom actually many years ago, guys. It couldn't happen to anyone now because I think everyone in a modern era is born knowing what Coke tastes like. But when my mom was a kid, she has two older brothers. And they had some Coca-Cola or whatever brand of cola existed in my mum's childhood. And in winding up, like our two brothers had this bottle of Coke and they're like, oh, give me some. And they went away and poured her a glass of Coke, but they actually poured her a glass of vinegar. And I said, here you go, drink that. I said, look here, my mum could have turned into the Sandman. She'd have been dried right out.
Did she know that it wasn't Coke, or did she go?
Had a big old guzzle of it. I mean, I wasn't there. I can't confirm firsthand. She had a big old. She was a fan of this Coke business. I don't think this is going to catch on, you know.
Like Homer Simpson when he eats the really sour gummy.
On the lemon tree. There's so many Simpsons bits you could use for that. But
yeah, right now back in the world of the faculty, they do the thing, except instead of a blood test and a hot wire, it's speedballs.
See, I think that's really clever. Like they've taken a really famous movie scene and they've YA'd it in the best way. They've turned it into Skins. Like they've added the whole kind of drug taking element. I think that's a kind of a perfect little move to honor what came before it, but also kind of keep it fresh in this setting.
It was kind of good, but at the same time, I was like, "Oh, are people actually taking it?" You can't even tell. People are just leaning their heads back, and obviously that does come back as well.
I think it's because they couldn't technically make the actors sniff up white powder.
No,
but I
mean, like the characters as such. Like
it's an unbranded drug as well. That's why it's of his own concoction, and it's primarily pet pills and some other household components. So like Persil,
powdered milk,
Nesquik,
Jacob's cracker.
Yeah, and that's why it dries them out so much. All the driest things.
All the usuals. Okay. So they go through them all. Casey takes it first. He starts
Casey
giggling.
He starts giggling, and then Zeke says, "He's tweaking. Let him tweak."
And then Zeke starts to tweak. Zeke does a tweak.
Yeah.
And they all start doing it. But then I think at some point they give it to Mary Beth and what's the flavor? Delilah at the same time.
Yeah, and Casey says, "Showdown."
He does his best, Matthew.
They're clearly high, but at the same time, they snap out of it pretty quickly, don't they?
Oh,
yeah.
They all do the best, like high acting, when it's basically just, I'll giggle and be a bit annoying.
Yeah, I've seen this film a few times. Completely forgot that Delilah was an alien. And it's actually, I think I started to figure out when it was just about to happen, but
when do you think they got her?
Good question.
Was she an alien the whole time?
They could have been on the school roof. Just dropped one off the roof as she walked out. What was that?
What was that?
Alien. But she didn't fall over. She low key transformed. She was like, oh,
hello.
Yeah. Pea shooter.
So it must have been it must have been just before she turned up with her glasses and hair tied up.
And thought, right, I will pretend not to be an alien in case they've got a lab of these drugs, because the fuck up 1 and 2 did come and say, have you got any more bics of drugs? Because the aliens must know. They must have found the science teacher, or must have generally knew that the drugs were no good.
So they're like acting like alien possessed people, whereas Delilah throughout has been acting like a normal person.
Yeah,
to some degree.
She was deep cover.
Yeah.
So she clearly pretends to take the drug, and then what does she say? She says something like, "Oh
no, she doesn't, does she? She's about to take it, and then goes, "Oh shit, alien spooky face.
Now you will die like your others before you, one by one."
And then she trashes the lab and then runs off.
When she runs out of the garage, it's clearly like a stuntman in a wig, or stunt woman in a wig, because it's just like,
yeah.
And then luckily, one of the alien teachers in like the student car where kids learn how to drive is waiting for outside.
Yeah, her getaway. Should we get them while they're a bit? No, don't.
She does also destroy like most of Zeke's lab as well. She like trashes everything, but luckily Zeke's got a few bics left over.
Yeah, he's got a few bics around, but they didn't have that many, so they've got to work out what to do. But it's Friday night, it's football night, so there's a team game on, and I tell you what, I'll be the first to criticize aliens, because in many ways they're wrong and they're up to no good. Dead good at team sports, though. Never seen the team play this well.
Jesus Christ, it's ridiculous, isn't it? It's like, is this football or is this just assault?
Well, they're like infecting all of the other team, right?
Oh yeah. They're dropping gyozas onto people's heads after they've tackled them. Usher at one point just clotheslined someone.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact rules of American football versus rugby, but I'd consider that a high tackle.
Yeah, shouldn't be allowed.
Maybe they've got the ref, though. Maybe they've already possessed him.
Oh, yeah. He's letting everything happen. Robert Patrick at this point is absolutely loving it. He's having the best time.
In many ways, though, if the aliens are still going to be in people, but basically do human things and run a school and everything like that, is there that much difference? I mean, they don't want a parasite in everyone necessarily.
Yeah.
There's probably difficulties in admin, but if they're going to run human society as human society, they're proper Halloween kills in this. Nothing is going to change.
Yeah.
So they're running a football game. They're crushing all these people, and our team, not a football team, our like alien hunting team, kind of sneaked into the school.
They realize that basically their plan is to find and kill the alien queen, because they think by doing that it will return everyone to normal, which is Stokely's understanding of it based on all that bloody sci-fi she reads. Rot on her brain with sci-fi.
Do you think it's Robert Patrick? Or did
No,
he?
they think it's the principal.
They think it's the principal. Yeah, they're like,
Why would
it
they
would
be
make-
the principal? Because they're not.
I think they say it would make sense for the Queen to take over the person who's in charge.
Okay,
think they
fair enough. Yeah.
So basically, they managed to lure her to the gym, isolate her, but obviously she starts doing her best, like, "Oh God, don't hurt me." Of course, it's no. What are you talking about? But for some reason, Zeke, not only is he all of the things we've mentioned before, also like a stone cold killer. Like, was there not a thought that went through his head where he went, "Fuck, was it even her?"
Yeah.
Because he shoots her point blank in the
Yeah,
head.
shoots her point blank in the head when she says, and he goes, "I haven't seen Emperor Palpatine Star Wars Episode 3 yet, but I know his playbook. You're going to unlimited power me any second." So he just blasts her.
Yeah, very nice. But and everyone's kind of worried that perhaps they've done the wrong thing, but no. Then she stands up, and this is probably like the most we've seen of the alien at this point, isn't it? She's kind of like, what does she look like? Just kind of, I can't remember.
She's all full of bits as well. She's all got under the skin is all bubbly,
floaty
and
bits.
she's been shot in the head. And then
Mary Beth
Luigi dusts her like a slug. Just puts an entire conical flask of
Zika Bix.
Zika Bix, but pretty much uses the entire like stash of the drug that they've got, obviously on purpose in hindsight, but for God's sake, so wasteful.
Completely obliterates their teacher as well.
Yeah, and she turns to utter mush.
Yeah.
So they think, "Oh, have we done it? Let's send someone out to check." Stan goes out, and he goes to check by walking incredibly closely to the entire football team. He's like, "Hello,
are you still aliens?"
Everyone's standing there looking at the sky in the rain. That could be them celebrating the fact they're not aliens anymore. Let me get a bit closer.
Yeah.
Guys?
No, there are tendrils coming out of all of their faces.
Yeah. Quite a cool little scene. Quite a cool little shot.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Very effective. I enjoyed it.
But off screen, Stan gets got because he comes back and says, "Let us in, will you?"
He's on the drug first. "I'll do it when I'm inside because it's bloody raining. I'm freezing. Let me in."
He like tips it out, and they're like, "No," because he wasted it. And I'm thinking, yeah, but either way, he would have used it, and you would have known if he was alien or not. Like, it made no difference. The results are still the same. You know he's not an alien, and you're out of Zika Bix.
Yeah, but he wastes it. Maybe that's it. They just don't like to see waste.
Yeah. Also, why did they have to use a full Bix? Why couldn't they just pop a little bit in there? Is that sizzling?
Have a little blast at it. Or you could have got other things that weren't the drugs. You could have brought some crackers. Eat that.
Thinking that, did they?
No water. Eat this whole.
Even a human being, they're like, "He's an alien. You can't even eat a cracker without butter."
You can't eat. Can you eat 3 cream crackers in 30 seconds? No one can.
Drink this blue Panda Pop. Oh, I can't. It makes me thirstier, even though it's a liquid.
I think I could eat 3 crackers and swallow.
In 30 seconds.
It's 30 seconds is pretty quick.
Yeah.
I reckon I could do it. Bonus video.
Yeah.
So Zeke and Casey go to Zeke's car because he's got more drugs in there, luckily. Casey then, like, all the infected football players are coming after him. And doesn't he see he climbs into a school bus, and Delilah's there all infected and trying to seduce him.
It's been established that he's good at running though earlier.
Yeah.
Well,
good at running.
So he's good at running, and you're right. She's trying to seduce him, and he says, "Nah, mate.
No.
See ya."
Yeah. See you later. He legs it, leading everybody away from Zeke, essentially, who can get to his car. But Miss Burke turns up looking sexy as well. That's obviously what they're going for. They're going, let's be as sexy as possible to sort these stupid humans out and get them infected. It's a metaphor for STDs, all right? That's what it is.
Yeah, 1 minute your English teacher's mousy, the next she's after. So we still got them cherry Johnnies, Zeke. And he says,
"You still got bloody Johnny, mate."
And he goes, I might have some dingers here in the car. Let me have a quick look and see if I can sort you out. But he hasn't though. He's got a few bics.
Yeah.
She then drops any pretense of it's all a game of like cat and mouse with these aliens. They're kind of really trying to hold on to the fact he doesn't know I'm an alien, does he?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he did. And then once it's out, they really go for it. And he doesn't bicker. He crashes the car. He puts his seatbelt on just in time.
Classic. And she flies out the window, gets decapitated. But
it gets better.
But yeah, her head, some tentacles come out of her head. Like again, another homage to The Thing. Tentacles walking her along. Well, not just The Thing. She looks like what's that alien called? What are the aliens called from The Simpsons? The green ones.
Like Kang and
Kang and Kodos. Yeah, she's got a Kodos head.
Got a Kodos head, and her body's like looking around for her, and then we see her plopping her head back on. However, that is the last we see of her, isn't it?
Yeah. When they kill the Queen alien later on, does the head just flop off?
No, you see it. She's in the ending. She's better.
How now that works?
John Stewart's in the ending as well. Better.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's got like a glove on and like
he's got an eye patch and like an oven glove on his hand.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. So he gets better as well.
Yeah, he went on to host the Daily Show for years.
I wonder if his buddy, maybe I was too harsh on Zeke. Maybe Oscar the Rat is also fine.
Oscar the Rat.
Yeah,
There's a little scene. There's a little scene of him.
Does that mean that like inside everyone, there's still the dead thing, but like it's still holding them together? Do you know what I mean? Like all these tentacles are still holding the head on. Like
is the teacher is the head teacher still in there with just like a bandage around her head at the end, or is she definitely dead?
A bandage.
got like a little plaster, like an X on her head.
She's got to be dead because she got reduced to candy floss, didn't she?
Yeah, but so did John Stewart.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe not as bad.
Gunged as well.
He got turned into a cappuccino.
Maybe they had it. Maybe they had a sequel in mind, so they were like, right, we've got to keep John Stewart on board.
Yeah. Okay. So at this point, I think wait, so is this when Casey gets in the bus?
The Casey's been in the bus.
That's what happened, yeah.
The football men all looked for him together. They went, even though there's like 20 of us, we will look in one place.
Yeah.
So this part is where Mary Beth reveals herself as the alien queen.
Yeah.
Not for any real reason other than she's just bored of it.
I'm sick of it now. She goes, "Oh, do you fancy being an alien? Because you wouldn't be sad. You wouldn't be sad no more if you was an alien. It'd be dead good."
Yeah, that's the thing that they keep pushing now. The aliens are kind of pushing. You won't be. There's no fear. There's no pain. If you become an alien, like it's proper. It's really good.
There's no tummy aches. No trumping. No one trumps.
Some people enjoy that though.
Aren't you dead thirsty all the time? Always thinking of the negatives, aren't you?
Are you dead thirsty all the time? But it's lovely to have a nice drink.
I think it might be quite good to be thirsty all the time and constantly like quenching your thirst. It's like constant relief.
I think that's my life. To be fair, I think I'm very.
Maybe you're one of those aliens, man.
I usually got like 3 drinks on the go at any one time, I reckon.
If you ever open your mouth and look in the mirror, can you see a gyoza stuck in the back of the throat?
A gyoza with 2 little levers, just like
a little steering wheel.
I'll have a little look at bedtime.
Okay.
And I'll feed back to you.
Yeah. So Mary Beth Luigi is an alien, and she transforms into an alien, like an animorph. Just chooses and like does like her face kind of
sinks into it. It's quite a cool effect. Her face like deflates into it.
It's like she deflates. It's like she's a weird like creamy bubble.
She transforms like a Resident Evil boss and just jumps into a pool.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
By the way, so Stokely falls into that pool afterwards, and Casey's like, "Oh God, I've got to help you get out." I'd be like, "She's definitely dead." Did you see how fast those things are swimming when they were like Gyoza size? Like Stokely's in the pool with like a giant one. Like
there is like a shot that's quite creepy where she's in the pool and she's like looking around and then you see it kind of appear behind her.
Is that when it does the like the mouth thing and then it goes to smile, Say cheese.
But she fishes her out with that pull hook thing that you always have at any public baths.
Yeah.
Classic. So doesn't Mary Beth pretty much say, well, I don't think it's quite yet, actually, Mary Beth says, but so we get a classic moment now where the audience is taken out of the scenario for a second, and then we're brought back in with Zeke and Casey, where basically everybody has been turned into an alien, but they're all claiming not to be. So you've got Mary Beth knocking about completely naked.
Yeah.
And that's the dead giveaway. So Zeke and Casey come back in and he goes, Mary Beth, why are you naked? And she goes,
oh yeah.
Can I think of a reason for this?
Checkmate.
I was right. I was really, really hot.
Yeah. But then there's a double reveal, or whatever you want to call it. Stokely is also an alien.
Yeah. So she must have been got in the pool.
Yeah.
Which obviously, I suppose, was quite obvious, I guess.
But they just shove her in a cage that's conveniently there in the locker room. As you get in the locker room, sometimes you'll get a cage.
Yeah.
But she does her she does her final boss speech now, Mary Beth. She says she's taken over Earth because her own planet is dying.
But have you seen the recent news, mate? This planet's not doing very well either.
In 1998, it was thriving. All right.
Millennium Boat was about to strike.
In 1998, it was a golden age that would never end.
It was a golden age that would never end. It was pre 9/11. You know.
Yeah, in a pre 9/11, it was
Yeah, there were no problems.
It was the glory days. Although I did make a note of what she offers here. So look, it's so much better being like our society. If we're all aliens, there will be what is it here? A world without anger, without fear or attitude. No attitude.
All the kids were full of attitude back then.
Wait, it was
late 90s. It was been the wrestling era of attitude.
Hey, less of the attitude, mate. That's what your dad would say when you're being naughty.
Less of the attitude.
Just showing up in front of your friends.
What about this one? Your attitude stinks. And you go, yeah, it does. Sorry.
I don't like your attitude. Yeah, and neither does this alien queen. She does not like any attitude.
And you're right, Andy. It was the WWE or WWF attitude era at this time. So maybe what she means
that's what she means.
Aliens take over and attitude immediately becomes PG-13 and moves into the ruthless aggression era. And it did happen. So aliens won.
I'll bring WCW and ECW into it right now. There's not going to be another couple of years of this.
Yeah.
Invasion angle.
And then this is where basically Zeke, I don't think he gets gotten turned into an alien. He just gets tossed and knocked out, right?
He gets thrown right across the lockers. Like he flies over Casey's head. Oh, hey, mate. And then he just continues on.
He just like ragdolls across the room.
Yeah.
Mary Beth transforms back into the alien like real quick. But she does, it's weird because in the sort of still shots where it's just practical effects, she doesn't look very like she can move at all, kind of rooted to the spot. But then in the CGI shots, she's like
ultra mobile. Yeah.
I feel like Mary Beth she could be related to Relic.
Yeah.
They're a similar CGI monster look here.
What's it called? It's called something weird like that.
To be fair, I'm not too sure what the Relic one looks like because it's hidden in like darkness. There's so much in that movie.
It's
like it's got like a predator face, and but it's less watery than Mary Beth.
It's called the Cathoga. It's got like a lion's body, a sort of reptilian tail, and like a predator face with like mandibles. It's very weird.
Loves the hypothalamus.
We're talking about the Relic one, yeah. Oh,
but you know what? You know what Mary Beth's weakness is?
No, what? Go on.
Mechanical stairs slash seating.
Bleachers, apparently.
Bleachers are a weakness.
It's obviously a very, very American thing because we don't really have them.
We just call them seats, don't we?
We just call them seats, or sometimes we call them...
We certainly don't have mechanical seats that you could press a button and crush people behind.
A lot of people...
Kids, put your chairs on the tables. That's what we had to do. We had to...
end of every day at school.
Put them on the tables. Yeah.
Every day at school, you put your chairs on the tables at the end. Them cleaners had what a life a cleaner had in the 90s. All you got to do is turn up. Chairs are already on the tables.
Or like kids in the UK just had to sit on the floor.
Yeah.
The
An
rock solid
assembly,
floor.
you got a bench. You got a bench when you're in year 6 to sit on at the back of the room. Other than that, cross-legged on the floor.
Yeah. Fingers on lips.
Just endless timetable reciting.
I remember doing lots of hymns, lots of Bible hymns.
Yeah, we did lots of hymns.
We did hers, mate.
Progressive
you grew up in a more diverse town than Ben.
Yeah, I did love a good hymn.
Yeah.
So Casey leads the alien through the back of the bleachers as they're closing against
Home Alone's her.
Home Alone's her. He dives through the last little gap of it.
Yeah.
And it crushes the alien, but the alien, right in its last moments, does manage to spit out a few gyoza straight into
his skin,
into his face. But he does
a whole
jam the
fries worth at her.
Yeah.
This is horrible. I hate the way that like
Elijah Wood is squealing as well.
Elijah Wood's face looks horrific in this moment. Like,
he's like, oh no, possessed. Oh no, I'm all right.
But he manages to jam the drugs directly into the alien's eye at the last moment. And then the alien dies and turns into a meringue.
Yeah, she turns into meringue. She's like, you've eaten your gyoza. Now I present you dessert.
Now here's dessert.
Enough meringue for everyone. Turns into an absolute pavlova.
Yeah. Wonderful. And then when Casey goes back to the locker room, Stokely and Zeke are alive and well. They're fine. Looks like everyone who's infected who wasn't like, I don't know, ripped in half. Well, no, even that, they're all right. Everyone's all right pretty much. And this 1 month later, everybody's returned to normal. Now, how do you feel about this? Because I'm still a bit like, oh, this is interesting. Stan and Stokely are together. They're in a relationship.
Stan and Stokely, who, by the way, not an emo anymore.
She's not an emo anymore. But she looked a bit, to me, I was like, she's just dressed like Mary Beth was. Is she now the alien queen somehow?
I didn't think about that at all. I saw some reviews that mentioned something about it seeming a bit conversion therapy-ish, and they didn't like that they'd taken the only lesbian character and made her straight.
De-lesbianized her. Yeah. I get that. I felt that, and I also felt the fact that she was alternative, the fact that, you know, the ending, everyone returned to normal, and the only goth / alternative character has also returned to normal, was a bit like, oh, all right.
That's not fair, Ben. There's that woman with a lip ring that was sat on the steps at the beginning. She might still be like that.
She like the Offspring now. So
I know what you mean. And like even Zeke. But then again, so Zeke is now playing football. He's still smoking, so he's still a rebel at heart.
He's got
smoking a tab. I mean,
he's
playing
got a
football,
tab on.
smoking a tab and playing football at our age would be impossible. The fact that he's probably like 35 in this film.
Yeah.
He's running around. What are you doing? Just punching a few darts, coach.
And I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry to Elijah Wood, but the least believable outcome is that Delilah and Casey are together. I just don't believe it. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
It's all about negging.
I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
And also, he's like a local hero. He's on like, is he really in Time magazine? Is that real?
Oh yeah, because
has she made that on Photoshop?
All the news is saying like, oh, after the may or may not have been an alien thing, who knows? Or dares to dream.
We found a massive meringue in the, but you know, it could have been anything.
Yeah, but he's loving it now. I would like to see him now bullying Usher.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So remember that time you were an alien, Usher?
No, I do. I stabbed your mum in the face.
Yeah, now run yourself crotch first into that pole. Otherwise, I'll alien you all over again. I'll stab a guy with a bic these days. You want to stay away from me.
Wow. Amazing. That's it.
Yeah,
that's the end.
That's it. And then we get the supermarket cover of David Bowie.
Yeah. The least said about that, the better. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there was also a supermarket cover of the Pink Floyd song as well.
Yeah.
That's
another brick in the wall.
Because they thought, we're going to get to say that teachers should leave them kids alone.
Yeah.
Teachers, leave them kids alone. Don't turn them into aliens.
Right, I've got some name game for you if you're up for it.
Oh, lovely. Love a name game.
So this first one is about a student called Casey Connor, Herrington High School's newspaper photographer. He witnesses the murder of a nurse and then he takes her to hospital.
He takes her to the hospital.
Takes her to A&E. So she's not been murdered, she's just been hurt. Witnesses the hurting of a nurse and he takes her to hospital.
The hurting of a nurse. He takes her to the
emergency.
No, wait, I've not read the song. The music goes. Na, 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 na,
The casualty.
Na, the casualty.
The casualty.
This next one is about it's an entire school that's overtaken by people who suddenly want to have some kind of beauty competition. You got halfway there. The
pageantry.
The pageantry.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Well
Next
done.
one.
Well done.
When Casey Connor, Harrington High School's newspaper photographer, witnesses the murder of a nurse, he realizes he was wearing VR glasses this whole time.
The reality?
The virtual reality.
Virtual reality. Next one. When Casey Connor, Herrington High School's newspaper photographer, witnesses a nurse just floating off the ground, he soon finds that everybody's just kind of floating away from the ground.
The lack of gravity.
That'll do, but the anti-gravity. But that's close enough. Last one, difficult mode. When Casey Connor, Herrington High School's newspaper photographer, is urinating at the cubicle, he accidentally sees another student's willy, and he decides to investigate the guy's bizarre appendage with his super powerful camera lens. So
the peeping Tom.
No, so he's noticed a piece of somebody's body, and it. I beg your pardon.
The penisy, the appendage. It
could be anything. So let's say it's his finger. That's a very, very small finger. So he has to get out his super powerful camera lens to check it out.
The macro lens.
The macro P.
I give you the first bit, the microscopic.
The micro dick. I look at Andy's hat's got a bit jaunty. He looks like he's had a few beers, hasn't he?
Like a sailor.
Attitude.
Yeah, too much attitude.
All right, this one might be too hard.
Come on.
The microscopic anatomy.
The microscopic anatomy.
Yeah.
I've got one that you can have, Luke, off the top of the dome if you like. Little sweetener. Sure. So, following the successful takeover of a high school in a local Ohio town, the aliens and former teachers open a chaotic hotel in Torquay.
In Torquay?
In Torquay.
Wait, that's Faulty Towers.
So what's the film called?
The something faulty?
The faulty.
It's the Faculty Towers.
Faulty Towers. That's good. Basil Faculty.
That was very good. That was.
Yeah. Okay.
We did it.
Right. We need to rate the movie. How are you guys feeling about it?
Nice. I feel pretty positive about it. This is a film that, no matter how many times I see it, I always enjoy it, and I always return to it. And it's one of those movies that possibly is a bit underrated in terms of science fiction horror.
Loads of reviews saying it's like terrible, bad 90s. In fact, I didn't even read the reviews earlier, so I didn't. So on Letterboxd, someone here loosely put, starting to realize that my favorite genre is actually shitty 90s teen movies, and then she gave it 4 stars. But this isn't shitty, I don't think. Far from it.
No. It's got it's got a lot of interesting characters. It's got interesting character arcs. I mean, it's not perfect. There are still a lot of cliches from 90s teen movies within, and it does lean heavily into Invasion of the Body Snatchers and The Thing, but knowingly. It's not like, oh, it's just ripping these films off. It knowingly leans into those films.
It's a nice homage.
It's a lovely homage. I always have fun with it. And despite the fact I've seen it loads of times, there are still moments in this where the plot still kept me guessing. Maybe that just means I've got a bad memory. Maybe it means the film's good. So I think I'd go quite high with this. I will give it a B minus.
Oh.
If I was going to say A something.
I'll give it a
B minus. Let's not be silly now.
B minus.
Wait, maybe I would have gone for B plus had it not been for Josh Hartnett's hexagon hair.
Jesus Christ, I can't even say it. His crystal
dodecahedron dome.
Yeah.
He looks like a Virtua Fighter character. Too many polygons. It's only 1998.
Yeah, he does.
Well, I'm gonna go with you went with a B flat. I'm going with a B sharp, B plus, and I was close to give it an A minus. I mean,
wow,
just got lots of I don't know. Is there anything that wrong with this movie? Really, it seems to be very, very well put together, very knowing. I mean, the only thing is, it does it is a bit cheesy 90s teen drama at times, but it knows that it's that. That's the whole point. It's kind of playing off that whole she's all that vibe and throwing it into an alien invasion situation. And I think it does it pretty perfectly. But it's not an A minus, it's a B plus.
There you go.
Love it. Lovely. Andy?
I enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed it more than I expected to. I think having not seen it for a number of years and my memory of it having faded, when I looked at the reviews before we started, I was like, okay, this is like it's a fairly standard movie. It's going to be one that like isn't going to hit those high notes. But you're right. I think the tribute to some of the horror past, the leaning into the sci-fi elements, the way all the characters come together. There's a lot to enjoy here. For a modern audience, if you're watching it for the first time without the nostalgia, maybe there are some things that don't hold up, like the criticism you level that you mentioned as well, Ben. It is strange, in fact, if you're watching it for a modern audience, that the cast is not particularly like diverse in their lifestyles and so on. The very fact that they really like dig in on Stokely's character for allegedly being a lesbian, which you would have thought in the late 90s things were beyond that. I was a bit surprised by some of that stuff, but I think the effects hold up really well. The horror holds up quite well. There's some really good star power behind this as well. Some really recognizable faces and some great performances that come out of this as well. I don't think I'm going to leave it so long until my next watch of this. It's quite enjoyable. And the things that are cliched about it, I don't think there's any shame behind that. I don't think they were unaware of it. And it's done in a way that they weren't aware of. I think some of the nuances they lean into are very, very deliberate in doing that. And it makes for a fun movie. So I'm going to give this one B.
Nice. So we've covered all the Bs.
All the B's.
3 Bs.
Yeah. So thanks for listening very much. We have a new patron, Lane Spencer. Thanks very much for pledging. We very much appreciate you. And we also very much appreciate our other patrons, John Crinnan, Ben Scaife, Stephen Christopher, Toby Miller, Laura Kendrick, Scott Rigby, and Pazuzu. If you would like to become a patron, you can go and get some bonus content. I think some new content dropped very recently.
Yes, indeed. We did a ranking of the Halloween franchise, every film starring Michael Myers and one without Michael Myers and none with Mike Myers.
It was a great episode. I was glad to be there and be a part of it.
You were there in spirit, at least, as always.
And we got a ton more of like bonus stuff coming up, right? So I am. I'm going to sit down and do some engineering. I'm going to try and find some element of the quiz that we can send to the patrons to see if they can find some kind of interactive element
They
to that.
sound like Mysterions.
Yeah.
We are the Patreons.
We are the Patreons.
Get them involved in some way. I'm going to look, and we've got all sorts of other bonuses. Ben, you talked about maybe some other rankings. I definitely want us to do some more Resident Evil chat as well after we opened Pandora's box on that last week.
Let's do that. In terms of rankings, it would be good to do a ranking of the games.
Yes.
Maybe not every game. Well, maybe every game. If we've played every
Resident Evil Gaiden on the Game Boy Color.
I had that.
Resident Evil Outbreaks 1 and 2. Gun Survivor. I know how much you love our mate Ark Thompson. They'll all come up.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm excited for that. Some more reactions, some more book chapters as well. I was thinking about dropping the book chapter for Resident Evil, the 2002 movie, because that would be relevant to the last few weeks. So
yeah,
might do that. Exciting. It's all happening.
There, but yeah,
over
more
on
to come.
Patreon.
Come and join us on Patreon. If you don't come and join us on Patreon, then also come and join us on the socials. We have the Facebook group, the Horror Hangout Board of Advisors, where lots of our regular friends and us, we drop in there to talk about the new horror movies that are coming out. There's always some good horror chat going on in there. So come and join us in there and all.
Oh, yes.
Cool. Next week we are doing
Titan. Is that how you say it? Titan? It's not Titan, eh?
Tip bags.
Tip bags. We're doing Tip Bags the movie.
Yeah.
Titan, and then so that'll be next.
Yeah. Well, pending any lockdowns, I'm going to be down south doing a Christmas visit to the family. So I will leave you guys to it next week unless we're forced to stay home. But I shall be back for an end of year quiz.
Oh yeah, Mr. Spreadsheets himself is getting the questions prepped.
Getting the questions prepped. I've got some nice new rounds for you. Might have to get you to sort out some of your fancy Patreon sort of digital environment, Ben, because there might be some things I could use a visual element for.
That'd be good, yeah.
Perfect for an audio medium, but we'll work it out.
Yeah. We'll work it out. Work out the logistics. Wonderful.
Cool. Thanks for listening. Thanks to Kovac Cowman for our theme music. Thanks to Acast for hosting the show. And thanks to the listeners. If you enjoyed the show, please consider rating and reviewing, and remember to hit subscribe. And thanks to my co-hosts Ben and Andy for being right horror dudes.
Thanks, you, Luke. Guys. Thank you, Andy.
Thanks, everyone. Bye for another week.
All the best now.
Bye.
Leave those kids alone. Bye.